I can't get enough of that song. I've got it on my Walkman.
Do you now? And you
I
listen to
do.
it over and over and over again.
I love it.
It
So
is
what
it
is
is
going
cool.
on? I got the whole thing. Have you listened to the whole thing? And
Uh no, I actually
Consent?
haven't. Yeah, I know it's in
Yeah,
there and I've come across it, but I haven't listened to the whole thing. I didn't mean to step
yeah.
on your toes, man, there at the intro. So
I don't
go
know.
right
You're
ahead.
good.
I see a name in here though that
I see that. I see that name too. I'm going to let you address it. So,
yeah, you
what
go ahead.
what's happening, everybody? Welcome back to Sevens Wild. This is episode 11, and this is the what do we call this? The Lonely Toy Island, and I am down south 77 here
I
on Three
am.
Star Draw.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot you got 2 names, Down South and 3 Star. My bad. I was so
Got
excited to jump in here.
I got
Uh,
all of them names. So with me
Yay.
is
Pop Blender. There you go. Quick, nice and easy. Nice and quick. Just story of my life.
quick and dirty, as crusty old crow likes to say. And as I see he is in
Something like
here, so
that.
Carrie, you are. It's funny right there. So,
Yeah, Pop Blender, of course. I think I know everybody in here. There's some new names popping in here and there. It's been pretty cool.
yeah, it's always good to see. So we're gonna flash this again later on, but here at the top of the show before we get started, we're gonna throw that up there just in case
Oh shit.
anybody
Okay.
did not know. So like to
Well,
wish you a big happy birthday. You're 21 today, right?
yeah, man. 21 times 2 plus 8. Love it. 21
Getting
times 2
on up
plus
there.
8 plus a dollar. Yeah, getting up there. It is September the 4th, my birthday. And you had messaged me about, or we'd talked and you said about streaming today. And I'm like, man, what am I gonna do? It's like, of course we are. It's like I got no plans. I ain't doing anything. Got no no party or nothing like that. Not that that isn't necessarily on the table, I guess. But yeah, no, it is my birthday, but obviously the show must go on. That's just how it goes, man.
The only thing
You
that
know,
stopped us so far was the force.
that's true. Yeah, the May power of the force. That's the one thing that stopped us. And we went a whole month in between streams. And I thought for sure we were going to lose any momentum that we
Yeah.
had after doing like 3 shows or something like that. We're just going to completely lose momentum. People forgetting a month. And actually, that hasn't happened. And people have stuck around. And we've added a few. We had a high last time 2 weeks ago.
Yep.
Good number and maintain that. And so hopefully this one will do the same. And thank you everybody that's spamming happy birthday in the chat. I do appreciate it. But as a lot of people will tell you, when you were younger and you hear from older folks that are like, yeah, you don't mean as much or you don't celebrate them, or whatever. It's like, no, what are you talking about? I'm always going to party.
Yeah.
I'm always going to
Always
have,
go kick it.
yeah. And then all of a sudden you realize it's like, yeah, no, I think I'm gonna be in tonight. Guess what
Yeah.
I'm gonna do? Get online.
See what's on the YouTube.
Yes, and I went over some of that last night with Matthew on our big show stream on Tuesday, and there is some stuff to find. You got to dig, but there are some shows
Yeah.
to find mentioning that, but we won't go into that.
Indeed. So we'll pop that back up in a little while in case anybody else trickles in that might have missed it. So I am going to let you, it's time to say hi to the chat, and you have the ability to highlight. I'm going to let you do that because I know there is one in there in particular.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, man. First in, Shark Eyes, what's going on? Big ups to the Legends of Tennessee. Legend in my own mind. I don't know about you down south, but I know in my mind I'm a legend, that's for sure. Ronnie
that's right.
Trickshot.
Damn it.
Ronnie Trickshot from the Legends of Down Under. I love that. That's like tag team chat right there too, isn't it? They were the
It's
first
like a
2
tag
in.
team wrestling team.
Yeah, right. The Bushwhackers. The Bushwhackers. Remember the Bushwhackers?
Luke and what was the other dude's name? Luke
I
and it
don't
wasn't
know.
Han.
Golly.
Luke and something.
Yeah, Luke.
Yeah, they used to come
Yeah.
stomping
Oh
out.
yeah, it came out and the whole thing. Yeah, man. That's what
Somebody in chat will know that.
we might have to start calling our Aussie mates the Bushwhackers. God dang it. I don't know why they didn't
Need to make sure it's not insulting.
I don't know. You know what? And I'll tell you in a minute after we go through the chat, but I will do that.
They called me the Bushwhacker 30 years ago, but things changed.
Well, that's no kidding. Ricky Jones in the house, longtime listener, first time caller. So Ricky Jones and I go back to middle school or junior high, I should say. Junior high band, 7th and 8th grade. And we both played in the drum section of your concert band back then. And then we went on to high school and was in the marching band drum line together. And for 4 years, so we were in the same grade, graduated. We were co-percussion captains. He was actually band president. I was the positive mental attitude band president our senior year. He was band president our senior year. And so I've known Ricky a long time. He sent me a happy birthday message. I said, hey, getting ready to go on a stream and with my cousin. He said, man, I get home, I'll stop by. So I'm glad he's here. I'm glad he stopped in. This may or may not be his cup of tea. You know, not everybody keeps up with some of this stuff. And but I'm glad he's here. And if he's hanging out for as long as he can, I appreciate it. So Ricky.
Yes, sir. Good to see you, Ricky.
Yeah, man, and obviously you know him as well, pretty well.
Yep.
Zombie Killer in the house. Stuart, Patrick, Crusty Old Crow. Well, hello there, you dirty rotten scoundrel, you dirty rotten Canadian. Yeah, caw. Let's see here. Strolling down, Jay Astro. What's going on, man? Always a pleasure. He says, hi, gentlemen, and I use the word loosely. You could say hi, gentleman and pop blender, which I think you used last night on my stream with Matthew. Let's see here. Who else we got as I scroll down? So far, so good. I think I got everybody. Correct me if I'm wrong, but so far, so good. We'll keep adding to it, man. Appreciate everybody coming in right off the top of the bat, man. Always good. Always good.
Yep. Good to see everybody here. And hit that like button if you hadn't already. Got to say it. I'm surprised I actually remembered to say it.
I forget all the time.
It's so weird to self-promote because it's so not something that I have ever done.
It's definitely not you. Me, maybe just from playing music and bartending and like competitions and all that kind of stuff. But for you, that's definitely not your style. And so I could fully understand like it not being that thing. But I forget too. It's just you got so much on your mind when you're streaming and trying to think about stuff. And it's just easy to forget.
Yeah, I do it in review videos too. Like I always forget. Like I get to the end, I'm like, oh yeah, I got to say that.
You need a sticky note. I know people that put sticky notes on the side of their monitor. They just put it right there and it just says remember, likes, subscribes, and all that stuff, which it does really actually help for small channel.
I think it would vastly help me, but if I start putting post-it notes in here for all of the stuff that I forget, you won't be able to see any toys.
Yeah, well, I can understand that. Yeah.
All of my Joes will have little yellow square capes.
Yeah, right. I don't know. Some of them, it might not be such a bad thing. Yowzers.
Eric Thurman, what's happening?
Hey.
How you doing, buddy?
Eric, sorry.
Yeah, it is. It is unnatural for me for that anyway. So what all did you do anything today for your birthday?
For the birthday? No, not really. You know, my best friend actually messaged me last night while I was on with Matthew, and it was kind of late, so I wasn't going to get out. He was still working, and by the time that we would have hooked up, it had been like 1 o'clock in the morning. Now, 15 years ago, I probably would have headed out. You know what I mean? Maybe even 10. But it was a little bit too late. But I may get with him either after this stream, or I might do a surprise birthday stream after this stream is over. I may very well. Matthew Matson in the house, my streaming partner on Tuesday night. Love that guy, man. He's a good dude, man. So anyway, no, I didn't do anything crazy today. And I did take my son to the orthodontist at 2:00. That was the highlight of my day. Was riding around, picking him up from school, riding with him, talking. We get along like two peas in a pod. And so I took him to the orthodontist, came back home and found something waiting for me in my mailbox. And the one person I thought I would see in the stream today, out of many, is not here at the moment. And so I almost kind of want to hang on to this, but I also, because once we get into the show, we get into the show. And so I'm going to go ahead and show you guys. I had a letter, airmail from Australia in my mailbox today from one Lenny Court.
Look up.
There we go. Hell yeah. Yes, sir. Frostbite, G.I. Joe repro. So I got a mail in the mailbox today from Lenny Frostbite, and I'm guessing the Ninja Turtles cardboard, okay, was in there because of to keep the envelope stiff and flat, because I was like, he sent me a Ninja Turtle part of a package, but sent me his card with QR codes on it, with kind of his spiel about doing some reproducing of all kinds of toys and everything on social media. So that was his card. But then he sent me a whole bunch of stickers, man, different kinds.
I have that. I put that one on my truck. Hold up the other one.
Okay. One. Yeah, this one here.
Yeah.
So this arrived from Australia. Super cool, man. And then he sent me the Cobra sign and the Snowcat.
Of course.
So of course. So anyway, so that was waiting on me in the mailbox. I pulled in the drive after dropping my son off, and it took me forever to get back across town. And I was like, what the hell is this? This envelope is really solid. I'm like, it's, and then I look and I see airmail, and I'm like, I don't get, and I see Australia postage paid. And I was like, wait a minute. I know somebody asked me for my address weeks ago, and I'm really bad on Instagram about getting back to people. So it took me like 2 or 3 days, and he's like, hey, what's your freaking address, asshole? so man, yeah, Frostbite, I really appreciate it. That's awesome, like super awesome. Great surprise.
Yes, sir.
And it came on my birthday. It actually showed up on my birthday. Awesome. Right. So when a day early or a day late, it was actually here today. So that's really cool. Nice surprise, man. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Crow asked, the surprise birthday stream sounds controversial. Birthday suit or Bucky suit?
The Bucky's, man, it's about 15 feet, 16 feet behind me. You can't see it right now.
Throw on the Bucky suit and a little party hat, one of those little cone party hats, if you got one around the house. I know y'all probably do.
Yeah. We used to use party hats. Oh, sorry, man. My bad. I was going to say, we used to use party hats in community college, and I didn't even go to community college.
Didn't even go.
So
we said hi to Matthew Matson. What is going on? Frostbite's G.I. Joe Repro. Wraith Mace has joined us.
That's right, baby.
And so has Dreadnought K6. What's going on?
Absolutely.
We'll never tell.
Yeah, I'll never tell. I'll never tell.
I'll never tell. What was that from? Why can't I think what that's
I
from?
remember the little pudding secret. I just remember the banana pudding secret, and then the Family Guy one where he's like something about pudding. He's like, but I'll never tell. I can't do a Peter Griffin.
Yeah. Wow, that's I can do it better than that. Always sounds better in the shower when I do those voices.
Everything sounds better in the shower.
I think it's the acoustics.
It's absolutely 100% the acoustics.
The shower acoustics.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, let's see. Jay Astro's here. He might know. That's a That's in a horror movie, and I can't bring it to mind. It's almost that time, man. It's spooky season.
Your favorite time of the year.
Yeah.
Your favorite
Yeah, buddy.
holiday, your favorite time of the year, man. For sure.
I absolutely love Halloween, and I've got to figure out what I'm going to do because I need to set up some big display with all of the guys on the shelf and some of the other stuff. I need to figure out what I'm going to do and where the hell I'm going to put it because I'm probably going to have to relocate some of these guys. Although I may just rearrange and decorate that, but I don't know. You know how I do the house on Halloween.
Oh yeah, man. You used to have Halloween parties like
Oh yeah.
Pretty decent shindigs, man, with a big bonfire out back and all that kind of stuff, man. Yeah, Halloween is your season, always has been. Dave, y'all have no idea, man. I've got pictures of him coming out when I had a karaoke business and was hosting on Halloween. They had a big Halloween party, and he looked amazing. And that thing was rigged. That thing was rigged.
Yeah, it was rigged bigger than shit.
Yeah.
That costume contest was a sham, damn it. I demanded a recount.
I had no say whatsoever in any of that, by the way. So
yeah, it was because Georgia cheated.
I was waiting on somebody to say this, Ricky.
Yeah,
now
right.
I've got an image in my head I can't get out in the shower.
So yeah, Lord. So I'm excited for Halloween. I'm actually looking for a couple things for pictures since I'll be doing, pictures and stuff, toy photography and stuff that I'm trying to learn. Got a couple things I'm looking for. I actually got one thing that's coming in that I'm really excited about. It's supposed to be here Friday. It's pretty kind of Halloween themed. That was the year I drove my hearse up there, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. That's right. Yeah. I don't know if anybody knows that. Do they know that?
No, I don't know. I don't know if I've ever
you had a hearse and you used to put the what was in the back of it? You put the
I had for a long time I had a inflatable twin mattress made up with sheets, and then I had a morgue. I had a body bag back there. It was the jam, man. I wish I hadn't sold that thing.
He had a hearse, y'all, for real. Derek Holloman stopping by too. What's going on?
What's happening, Derek? Yes, I did. That is a 1991, 1992 Superior conversion.
Wow.
Cadillac DeVille. Find pictures. I got pictures. I'll post them somewhere. I'll have time to find them.
Some people are kind of superstitious about that stuff. Would anybody in the chat drive a hearse? That's what I want to know. Would any of you guys drive a hearse in there? Bobby Wold stopping by. What's up, Bobby? Did you guys happen to see Hasbro Pulse either was on Twitter, Facebook, in depth into the figures for the Rattler stuff? They probably should have been doing the first couple of weeks. I have not seen that, but I can dig it up and maybe we can talk about it here in just a little bit. I'll see.
I did not see that either.
Do some typing away, baby. But yeah, anybody drive a hearse or would drive a hearse? Y'all chat away. I don't know. I don't know if I could have personally. I always thought it was absolutely hilarious, though, that you had one and you drive it. But the things you could do with it, I guess, right? Like, especially just having fun in that way.
I had that hearse. I also had a 1966 Buick Riviera for a while. And I missed the hearse more, and the hearse got more attention than the Riviera.
Oh, I believe that.
Most people had never seen a Riviera like that year, that body style. Everybody thought it was a Tornado because that was the year it debuted.
Yes.
So I miss out of those two, man. I missed that 92 Cadillac hearse more than I missed that classic 66 Detroit muscle that would pass anything but a gas station.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, that was a sweet car though. That Riviera is a bad boy.
Yeah, it was nice, and I just
didn't
get to drive it. No, I didn't get to drive it as much as I wanted, and like that was when I really started working on my property where my camper's at. Every time that like I could have been out driving the hearse, I wanted to go down there and work on the property or the Riviera rather. Want to go to the property and camp, and it just got to be too much and had to prioritize. So
Yeah, that becomes something that happens in life kind of when you hit a certain point, right? Wraith, I'll be playing that game. You will
Space
be
Marine
streaming it,
2.
I'm sure. Yes, and every review I have seen online, and I've watched about 4 today, said that that game not only looks fantastic, it plays fantastic. Yeah, Space Marine 2 coming out tomorrow, and it looks really good. Really good.
Yeah, so far from what I've seen of it, it looks good.
Yeah, no,
Eric
it
says
does.
2 Halloween stores open in August. Well, that's when it starts moving into the corpse of other retail stuff from the summer.
Oh,
So
sure, right. They start taking over. Isn't that just how it goes, right? They
yeah,
start taking over. I love it. I was trying to see if anybody talked about driving a hearse, and yeah, Eric, like there's decorations. All the stores are starting to switch their stuff over. For sure. Ricky said he almost bought a hearse at 16. He did have a big ass station wagon. I can tell you that because I went to throw a firecracker or a M60 out the top of it. It had a sunroof. I think it was that car, and it came back down inside. And there was like 5 of us piled inside the station wagon, and it exploded inside. So my aim was totally off, and I missed the top, and it blew up while we were inside the station wagon.
yep, that's awesome. So let's see, Crow, Make a Joe, Cobra Graveyard.
That
That'd
sounds
be
fun.
that'd be awesome, but
Yeah,
it's
that
something
sounds
I should
fun.
have started in like April.
Yeah, well, that's true.
Matthew says his 6th grade music teacher drove a hearse, closed the curtains, left the cat in the back. People would be curious, and a cat
Oh,
would jump in the
wow.
window.
Oh, jeez.
So that was nice. So
That'd be cool.
maybe that I think that's the one I'm talking about, Jay
Well, there
Astro,
was
way
one
back.
what was "Don't Say a Word"? Is that what he
Yeah,
said? Yeah,
yeah.
because I Googled on and I think it told me the same thing. Yeah, "Don't Say a Word." That's the same thing I got, but I don't remember that part.
So yeah, I just remembered the saying, and. So Dreadnought says there's a guy who drives one around my area who works at the bowling alley and dresses like an emo vampire. He's 35 and he gets no poontang. So that is because he dresses like an emo vampire, not because he drives a hearse. Because I get to tell you some of those goth chicks. I'm not going to go into great detail, but that's because he dresses like an emo vampire.
Okay. I found the Hasbro Pulse classified thing. It's from 5 hours ago. Kind of exclusive
Okay, no, I
behind the
didn't.
scenes look at it. Has exclusive behind the scenes. It's got all the different parts of the figures. It's got sculpts, them painting it. It's got it's schematic, so to speak. It looks like Gamora in this picture. I know it sounds stupid, but it's like the Baroness figure, but she's green. It looks like Gamora with this is odd. Anyway, so I get it now. Okay, I get it. So I
It's
see what's
all like
happening.
test shots and
Yeah,
stuff that
kind
they
of,
should
sort of,
already have
yes.
out.
Like
Okay.
while they're doing paint apps, somebody's kind of holding the figure, and you can
Yeah.
see Q-tips, and you can see all the different things that they do, sculpting tools and stuff like that. It looks like. Yeah, I mean, maybe they'll release some more of that stuff.
Yeah.
But I found it.
Dreadnought said he's going to get pictures of that hearse. It's got purple rims. So, yep, send them when you get it. Maybe take a selfie with the 35-year-old
hell
emo
yeah.
vampire.
As long as you don't try to bite you.
Yeah, lean. Use a stick so you can lean away from him.
So you can beat him with it when you got to get away.
I have to impale him. K6 Van Helsing. Stab you, stab, bitch.
Oh, Lord. Yep,
Good
doing
time.
that hearse smashing back in the day, didn't you?
I'll the
Smashy,
first comments on
smashy.
the place where you did karaoke that I drove it to.
Spring
Actually, I had a
Hill?
character. That I had a character that I made
No.
up that was an old world, like Wild West undead Undertaker. So it was I
That
kind
was
of did
amazing.
model him myself. Jay Astro, the dudes in Phantasm, scored in a hearse. I kind of modeled this character after the Tall Man, after
Yeah.
Angus Scrim.
Yeah.
That's what I kind of modeled this character after. But the bar
Oh, man.
that Pop used to do karaoke at, when I drove it up there, because I drove it up there a few times. I didn't just drive it that night for Halloween party, but there was a chick up there that was up there all the time. It was a little bit weird, but she was like, the hearse is hot. And I said, thank you. She's like, can you do casual? And it took me I was like, oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Y'all
Yeah,
just
I can do that.
y'all just have to understand Spring Hill, Tennessee.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of its own little area. So dude, Crow, if he did that, because we're gonna talk about some ramen here in a few
Yeah.
minutes.
Yep,
If
yep,
he
yep.
did a hearse, man,
I'm
can you
surprised. I'm
imagine?
actually shocked that there. I mean, I guess it has to be a theme, right? It has to be a property. Has to be a based off of something. I don't think you just do one
Yeah,
just to do one. It'd have to be one that people know or are familiar with, right?
and there's not really, I mean, aside from the ecto,
Yeah,
you
no.
know, you could do the one
Famous
like the one
hearses?
from
Anybody?
Phantasm.
I mean, but
The
seriously, like famous
probably
hearses? I don't know of any.
aside from the Ecto, which was a 59 meteor Miller conversion, probably the most famous one that I can think of was the one Dracula drove in the Monster Squad. That's the next one that really comes to
Oh
mind.
wow. Yeah.
That was it was a 60s model, but I don't remember what. But he had that awesome hood ornament that was the skull on it. You can
Yes.
just see it coming down the road.
Yep.
They're saying monsters.
But
Yeah,
the Munsters car wasn't a hearse though,
it
right?
was. Yeah, well, it was an old, like a coach. It
It was
was
a it was a coach, but
30s.
I don't remember it
Yeah,
being a hearse.
it was a hearse, but it was
Hmm.
like a 30s model
Okay.
um style hearse.
Okay.
It was a hearse. Yes,
I was trying
that
to
is
look them up,
probably the most
and
famous.
it's there's a list obviously that you can kind of look and see, and some of them famous, some of them not, ones that maybe got famous in real world, like our real
Yeah.
world, that a one-off kind of
Oh yeah.
car that Fiat made, or
Yeah.
whatever.
Oh, that was what Ricky said. Hearse Twisted Metal. That was actually the first thing that come to mind when you said famous hearses. I
You
thought
know,
Twisted Metal before I thought Ghostbusters.
okay, so real quick, like I just came across this, and I think this is unbelievable. Would you would you take a ride in that bad boy, right? In this wait, where is it at? There it is. Add to the stage. There we go. How about this Nissan hearse?
I would ride. I like vans too. I would drive it.
I'm like, what the hell is that?
Yeah, I'd sport it. I'd definitely ride in it. So,
Oh my god, it's not what you think
what's
of
happening?
traditionally. Oh shit.
No. What's up to Ron, the toy enhancer? What's going on,
What's
buddy? You
up?
recovered from Dragon Con? I have not had a chance to
Oh
watch any of the
god.
videos from it,
Jesus. I've heard a
other than the
lot
short
about
you
it.
did.
Heard a whole bunch about it. Um, Chris Gore was there this weekend, as I told you, and I would have loved to have actually gone down there to meet him and talk to him from old G4 TV, Attack of the Show days back in the day. He was down there. I think he had a horror panel actually that he hosted on horror movies and stuff. You probably would have really liked that.
Yeah, that's up my alley right
Yes,
there.
it is. I saw War Chest. Yeah, there we go.
War chest in the house. So, yeah. So, anyway, spooky season is here. So, we got something kind of spooky ish season we'll bring up here in a little bit, kind of briefly. But
Oh yeah.
So let's hop into some news and find out what's going on.
What's going on?
What's going on? So let's see. First thing I got up here. Go ahead and pull this up here. So we got PulseCon coming up. It's a week from Friday. It's the 13th. So we get a Friday the 13th this month. So
Right.
it's always cooler when it is in October, but it is in September. I'm actually trying to look. I'm going to look and see if there is one in October. I don't think there is. Sometimes you'll get lucky. Nope, October is the 11th, so on Friday. So anyway, so we got PulseCon coming up. We're going to be seeing. We know we're going to be seeing Starduster. So Starduster is going to be the PulseCon exclusive. So this is probably when they're going to put some other stuff up for pre-order. Possibly that next wave that will be coming out. If they go up now, they'll have them scheduled for January or February. So that could be, this could be when we get our pre-order for Nemesis Immortal. Probably going to be, what else that we could see? The Xandar, Leatherneck, Saw Viper wave.
Yeah.
This is actually it seems like this is a little earlier in the month than it was last year, but I don't remember when it was last year, but it seems like it was the next week, but not that it really makes any difference, just musing. So we might be seeing that stuff come up next Friday, and then there is the October, was it the 1027 event?
Yeah, definitely.
That is it 10? That's on a Sunday. That can't. Will they do it on Sunday? I don't know. Because it's that day, right? I mean, it's always that day.
Yeah, seems like it. You can check it out.
Trying to look.
Yeah, look it up real quick. PulseCon was on the 22nd last year. So it was a week early. Yeah, so, give or take, whatever. I mean, you know what I mean? Like it's no biggie. Real quick, the lovely and talented Woody Triple Deuce is in the house. The dulcet tones of Woody.
Soothing sounds of Woody Triple Deuce, the figure addict. Yeah, baby. Don't make me start the music. It's too early.
Ain't good enough of your love, babe.
So it is the 1027 event. So I guess we will see if they actually hold it on that date or not on Sunday. So,
or they'll keep it at what time they were supposed to.
Yeah, we're gonna start it at 11, then accidentally started at 7, and that'll probably be pre-recorded, I would think. I don't remember how they did it last year.
I don't either. My memory's not that good. That's for sure. I could not tell you. I'm sure somebody in here probably does remember, but yeah. I mean, obviously, I'd say probably next wave. What do you think of like 4?
Yeah, we should be seeing.
Usually it tends to be like 4 or something like that.
And usually we a deluxe with them of some sort. So,
yes, but
I don't have. I should have pulled it up to see what actually the next figures on Chris McLeod's little graph.
Right. I was kind of waiting on one, so then I started kind of digging. I thought maybe you had one, but I was going to start digging anyway.
No, I was drawing a blank on the actual figures that were like the next wave, but it should be the Leatherneck and Xandar. It should be those guys coming up. So we should see them, but I'm thinking they may hold Nemesis for the 1027 event.
It wouldn't surprise me at all. It would not surprise me. What about the claw? They talk about that.
Yeah, we got the claw coming too. It could possibly go up.
The thing about it is just kind of it's been so weird, right? It's been so weird and inconsistent, kind of back and forth. And then you've got news and you don't have news. All of a sudden, you get 5 go up for pre order, or you've got what, and then you've got
Yeah.
nothing, right? And then and it's just been really so after like, we got so much last year and it was very consistent. It was a steady stream, right? And you started seeing more of your retro carded and then this year's been kind of weird, man. It's really has to me. It's and we're obviously getting on the back end of it, and it's just been a very inconsistent year. Some flubs here and there with some of the information and the start times and the pre-orders, and it's been a really odd year after they really nailed it. I feel like last year they just hit on all cylinders for the most part,
Well,
right?
last year, they killed us with stuff last year, and it
Yeah,
looks like the end of this year
yeah,
is going to be that way because we're into September now. So I'll say what's up to Billy Renfro just popped in. What's
that's right.
happening, Billy? Thanks for stopping by.
Yeah, man.
So I looked earlier, and all of that stuff is still slated. I know Amazon pushed some of the new stuff that we're about to get back, but it is still slated for October 1st at Pulse. That's
Okay.
Road Pig, Raptor, all of the retro card, the Cobra Commander, the Trooper, and Stalker, and I'm missing the 60th anniversary guys. So
Yeah.
all of those, as well as the Twilight pack, I think,
Oh,
and
the 2 pack.
Quarrel and Falcon.
Yeah.
All of that stuff is October 1st. So get the Astro Glide for your wallets in the next, I'd
Man.
say 2 weeks.
Yeah, pretty much because I would assume because once it starts hitting, that's how they've done it this year, right? It's just like all of a sudden it's just boom, 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 boom. But it's been very inconsistent.
They're smoking some shit this year over there or something. At least the marketing and the IT department are.
Yeah, and Derek, is true. Like it's just been like that, man. It's been feast or famine this year in particular, and it's been hard to kind of try to predict and plan and move things around. And I think last year was a little more consistent, and this year has definitely been a slog when it comes to trying to
It's
be get yourself together and ready for this stuff. And if you're like me, where I do all my online purchases, I use a card for that is different, and therefore I have to. It's a prepaid card, so I load it up and then I buy shit. And so it's like sometimes I'll use it and use it, right? Plan on something, use it, and then forget. And then I'll get that email that's like, we're about to charge you. Or if I miss that email, but that's the one I have on file. And that way, in case anything ever happens, that's just the one I use when I buy stuff online or use it for online stuff. And so that's a little tricky for me. That's just an added little thing for me sometimes.
What is that card? Show us that card.
It's just a net. It's just a net spin card. I mean,
we
I'm
need to
here.
see the expiration.
No. Here, hang on a second. Here's the number real quick. It's 1800FUCKYOU. That's
Okay, 3825968. I used to text that or page that all the time on the touch tone phone.
yeah,
Yep.
no, but yeah, I mean, just for me, I just find it easier to plan it that way, and that way, what I put on that card, I just know. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the easier way for me to do it, and I can just
Yeah.
kind of portion it out, knowing okay, this goes on there for this and this and this, and I don't use it for a lot. But anyway, so that's neither here nor there. Doesn't matter. The bottom line is, I agree with you, Derek. It is going to be a bitch on the wallet coming up.
And you've mentioned, a couple times that you've forgotten to reload that
Hell,
card.
yeah.
Like, yeah, your order didn't go through for
It
whatever
took a
funds, and you're
couple,
like,
3
oh
extra
shit.
days to get something because they needed to reprocess it again. It's like so.
Yeah.
Yeah, that has happened, but yeah, no, it's not been a big deal. But that is one way you can do it. Is set that aside and just say, hey, here's my money for this, and I'm going to put it on there and just leave it alone. or whatever, and you've got an easy way to do that. That's one way to do it anyway. So
Yep, and I do something similar with PayPal. I try to keep, you know, stuff in the
yeah,
PayPal account and have it pull it
right.
out of that, and then of course I've got a backup for it. But you have to, like, when you set it, like, that's what it is. So if you don't mean for this one to come out of that payment method, you got to remember to go in there and change it, because it'll default the hell out of it. I had that check my balance and on something, I'm like, I didn't use that. And I'm like,
Right.
Hasbro Pulse. Like, I
That
changed it from PayPal.
because of the inconsistency though of that, and they do give you a warning. I mean, I get it, but because of that inconsistency, I just feel more comfortable doing that a whole different way, and
Yeah.
it works for me, but maybe that doesn't work for everybody. So I get it. But I don't want to find myself in that situation if it does happen, and it can happen. So
Yeah. And that weaponized FOMO is going to get us one way or the
you
other.
already know, man. You already know. I like
So
that
Billy
picture on the
says,
screen. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
I would say, Billy says, much as I love classified, sometimes I wish they wouldn't put out so much each year. It's a little too much. It just needs to be spread out a little bit better. Like, I don't getting a pre-order drop that's like 8 figures all at once, and if you're a completionist or you buy multiples of stuff, like, that's just too much. And when you figure some of those guys are going to be $35 plus figures,
It's true.
figuring a vehicle at
Uh-huh.
$55,
Yes, sir.
that's a lot, man. That's
Yep.
a whole lot.
I see
So
a
what's up,
comment.
Bobby Wald?
Yeah, man. That comment right there. I real quick, because Bobby was been here for a bit. I want to see this though. My brother-in-law back to Rattler, he told me they canceled it on him. So is that it? Was it a payment thing like what we're talking about, where like he went to back it? Because I just thought they charge you right then and there, and
Yeah,
that's that. So either
they
you
don't
back it, and
charge.
they charge you immediately. It's not like a pre-order. So I'm curious exactly if they why would they cancel it though? Cancel his order. I'm really curious about that.
Yeah,
Um,
I'd like let us know, Bobby. I'd like to know that too, because they haven't charged me. It'll be charging September 9th at, within a few minutes of 11:59 p.m. Eastern. So I
right.
know when that Dragonfly, when they charged for the Dragonfly, that shit was taken out. I got that email within 5 minutes.
No, hang on. So there's a couple things going on real quick, and I'm gonna get to. I do want to get to Dreadnought K6's comment, but Derek says they don't charge on HasLab till the end. That's not true. HasLab's different. When you go to back it, you back it immediately. They don't charge you at the end, do they? Don't you pay for it right
Yeah,
away?
no,
Yeah,
they
when
don't charge you till the
yeah.
campaign ends.
So they charge you when the campaign ends. They don't
Yeah,
charge you if you go to back it right away. They don't charge you until the campaign ends. So they don't charge you like
correct.
right now.
Yeah,
Because I could,
if I ordered one right
right
now,
now.
it would
It
not
would not
charge
charge
my
you. And
account.
okay, so then that's even weirder. Then that they would cancel it on him when they haven't even tried to charge him yet, right? Like that's interesting.
I
Okay,
don't
hang
know.
on. Charge until
Yeah,
6 more
cards are good.
days, and all his card are good. They just sent him a note saying it was canceled for no. That's weird, man. Like,
I'd like to see.
and and
I'd
and
like to hear more about this.
unless I mean, I don't know. Some companies there are certain cards that they may or may not accept. Now, I don't know which ones, and I don't know what companies, but I do know that like there's certain companies that maybe don't take like Zoom account or a Cash App account. And it's because of the way to verify the money. It's how the money is moved. So there are certain different ones. I don't know all of those particulars, but I do know that there are some companies that just don't accept a certain card. But usually when you put that card number into the form, it usually will do the
Yeah,
little
it
thing. It'll go
verifies it.
like that. And it'll either say like, this card is not accepted. But that's interesting. I wonder why they would do that unless
It's
they
got
just
to be. Yeah, it's got to be some kind of something
That's
like
weird.
that because Matthews, they don't charge till the end. They can't. I've never heard of that, but
Right.
last year was just my first one that I've done.
I
So
couldn't remember because I've done, the two, and I could not remember if like when I just paid for it, I just paid for it.
yeah,
But I guess
so,
they can't really do that because they'd have to do a bunch of refunds if they didn't
no,
get the
I know,
thing back. So I guess it makes
I
sense.
know, I know, I know. I haven't been charged for it because every time I check, that interest
You
free
waiting.
countdown timer has not
Oh
started
yeah.
yet.
Right, right,
So
right, right, right,
because
right.
I'm using I'm going to use PayPal credit on the Rattler. Because if it's over a certain amount, you got a
Yeah.
year for no interest. So I
Oh,
like to buy
sure.
stuff that way.
Yeah.
So
And real quick, Dreadnought K6, yeah, Hasbro has to make quarter 3 and 4 look good on paper for the shareholders because overall they're taking a loss again this year. That is very true. They are
that's
taking
what
a
they get
loss
for making
again.
them acolyte figures.
I mean, seriously.
I got you. I got you the twins. That's for your birthday, right?
Oh,
That's what
hell yes.
I got you. Oshi and whatever the fuck that one's name was.
May and OSHA.
May. You know what? There is one figure out of the acolyte figures out of the set that I've seen that I want. Can you
Can
guess
I
which one it
guess?
is?
Can I
Yeah.
guess? Let's see. It is. Oh boy, this is tough. I'll have to say Saul because I just can't think of any other character in the show that was that interesting.
No, it's not. It's not Soul.
Really?
No.
It's not the little beaver dude, right? It's the beaver dude?
It's the tracker. It's the little
Oh
beaver dude.
gosh. Wow. I have not seen the figure, so I can't comment on it.
He actually looks pretty good.
Okay.
Let me
I'm
see.
not saying they
I
can't.
have Hasbro pulled up, so
I'm not saying they can't make decent figures. It's just the show itself is so bad that nobody wants to buy them.
there's my boy
Okay. All
Basil.
right.
Basil, the
Yeah.
Jedi Order
Yeah,
tracker.
Basil. I can't remember how I called him Basil. I call him Basm. I called him like 5 different names in my video.
Look at him. He's got Oakleys, man. Check him out. He's got
Those are
damn
blue
Oakleys
blockers,
on.
dude. Come on, man.
Yeah, got my blue blockers walking down the
Blockers,
street.
see?
My blue blockers. Dude, big old dude with the big sun hat that looked like Uncle Tim.
He's got a pilot cap on too, doesn't he? Is that a
Yeah,
pilot cap?
he's down with Nin Nub. They're homeboys.
Name numb, dude. Better get out of here with that
Yeah.
name numb. Ding ding dong
Look at
dang
that.
ding numb.
I like that. I like that little dude. It was my favorite character in the whole thing.
Yeah, there was some goofy stuff with him though, but as a figure, I ain't gonna lie. I mean, it looks pretty good.
If his nose doesn't wiggle, they failed. If you can't stop and put him up in front of the camera and go sound like my dog when I got
well, that's
potato
true.
chips.
That is true. Yes, you must do that with a character like that.
So Aaron's waiting on Giant Man. Have you had any updates on Giant Man, Aaron? It's fall, isn't it? When they said it's coming out.
Which one?
The Giant Man HasLab, the Marvel Legends.
Yeah, I thought it was.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's just it's coming. Like it should be coming out anytime.
Okay.
Because you got
Very good.
2, didn't you? And I think Aaron got 1 or 2. So let's get back to the Rattler here.
Yeah.
So
Let's get on it.
5 days, 2 hours, 3 minutes, and 40 seconds to back this thing. You will get charged at 11:59 Eastern on the 9th, and we are at 16,136 backers. So we are still roughly a little over 18 away from getting the Baroness.
You think it's going to hit? You think it's going to hit?
It's gonna hit, man. All these Facebook groups and all these people going, I don't know, we still got 2,000 to go. I don't think we're gonna get the Baroness, fellas. And man, get the fuck out of here. Like,
yeah.
Although I did have that few minutes of trepidation last year with the Dragonfly with Glenda because it stalled at Glenda the same way this one stalled with the patches.
Oh,
And
oh,
once it got over that hump,
okay.
yeah, so it did the same thing. And that was my first HasLab. So I was going through the crises of, oh no, what if it doesn't get all the figures? I didn't really care anyway because $275 for the Dragonfly and Wild Bill, I was fine with that. So this one, we're gonna get there. I'm not as fine with 325 and Wild Weasel, but we've talked it to death, but that's where we're at with it. So is anybody, I always ask when we talk about the Rattler, anybody in the chat, is there anybody that's still waiting to back it? I know a couple weeks ago when we talked about it, there were some people that were going to and haven't yet. So I just wondering if there's anybody out there now that still is waiting. I know you're one, right, Pop Blender? You wait till the end.
Yeah, no, I'm in no rush. It doesn't matter when there's no early bird special, when there's no early bird reward. Then why does it matter if you back it on day 1 or day 50, 45, whatever? I guess just to be able to say that I've already done it. I mean, I'm Aaron. I'm gonna back it. I mean, there's no doubt about it. But it's just, to me, like, and I guess that's the thing. If the money's not coming out right away, but I don't get any penalty for not backing it in the first like 2 days or something like that, then what does it matter? And I learned that on the hiss. Because you and I had that conversation. I waited till the last day to back it, and you were convinced there was an early bird, which does make sense. Like, right? Like, it totally makes sense. I would be like, yeah, I guess I missed out on some figures. I missed out on some stuff. And then when I went in and read the fine print, I read all the stuff, and it said each backer will get blah, 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 blah. At that point, I was like, oh, well, shit, I'm going to get all this stuff. And so at that point, I backed it, but I didn't feel the pressure to do an early bird. I know people do that, and I know people enjoy that. And I do know that some people feel that the fans who really want something should be rewarded. But at the same token, that's just not the way they do theirs. So once I knew that with the hiss, I knew it with the Dragonfly, I know it with the Rattler. I'm in no rush to back it. I don't get any points for that, right? Like, I don't get any cool points for it. I don't get any
discount,
nothing. I don't get a discount. I don't get anything special. So I'll just wait until last couple of days. All good.
I just went ahead and got it over with. I mean, I did it the first day. I knew the money wasn't coming out. They wasn't charging me that day just to go ahead and get it over with. I do think, I mean, like most people, I do think they missed the mark with these patches. If they were going to offer them, they should have done them as the early bird, just something, whatever, just something extra if you want to go ahead and do it. I don't know how many people that might have convinced, but something. But I think everybody, even with that, would still be disappointed that there's not 4 figures.
I agree
with it.
I agree. And I'll tell you what, the patches, as petty as it may sound, the patches may have stopped some people from backing it.
Yeah, I can see that. I can think of one person off the top of my head that will probably use that as an excuse for not backing it, even though we all know they're going to back it.
Eric
says he still needs to. We end up with patches and no Baroness. I mean, if it ended right now, that would be the case, I guess. I wouldn't be real happy about it, but my main attraction to it was Wild Weasel anyway, so I know I'm getting him. It would be disappointing. God, wouldn't it be so disappointing? What if it got like the 17, like 995?
Oh, get out of town. Are you kidding me?
People would go there and they would torch.
And what if you weren't Woody and you were like, I'm gonna buy 4 more to push it over? I'm gonna buy 4, and then it ends up like
you know who'd do that?
1,500,
This guy right here.
Yeah, it'd be 1,500 over, so you didn't really need to get them, right? But you're like, I want to make sure we all get them. I'm going to be that person. The last 35 seconds, okay, boom, 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 and then it ends up like 2,000 over. You're like,
yeah,
damn.
You're like, son of a bitch. I guess I can always flip them later.
Yep. I mean, look, I get. I mean, people gonna do that anyway.
Wild Weasel.
People gonna do that anyway, right? And part them out and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But still, though, it is funny though. It's like, the last 10 minutes, we're not there yet. I'm gonna be the one that does it.
like they're gonna engrave your name on the tail fin or something. Like this HasLab made possible by Aaron the Toy Enhancer.
That'd be awesome. That would be
Baroness figure made possible.
Then everybody would be waiting till the last 10 minutes. Their website would get flooded, and then it would end, and there'd be like thousands of people that couldn't get in to buy it.
Crash. I can't imagine that Hasbro's website would go down.
No, there's no way in the world that Hasbro has any issues with their website at all, ever.
Because they have top men, Lois, working on it. Top men. So there it is. Rattler is coming one way or another for everybody that's gonna get it. I'm excited for it. This time next year we'll be going, oh, where is it? I can't believe that we had to back a well before we got the Rattler. You heard it here first. Dude. You didn't really hear it first. Everybody's been saying that. So do you have our list of our chat prediction list on the final numbers for the Rattler? Do you still have that handy?
Yeah,
our Price is Right list. Okay.
Yep, I do. I still have it. I got it right here.
So here. We don't need to go over that yet. I just want to make sure
we don't. But I want to remind everybody: all but one person is over 20,000. All but one person is over 20,000. There's only one person under 20,000 on their prediction for the final numbers of the backing of the Rattler.
Yep.
So, and I know you don't remember who you are.
Matthew says he said 22. Matthew knows.
The person that said under 20,000 is actually 19K is in the chat as we speaketh.
So next time that will be one of our talking points as we get to actually go over our prices right list on who got closest. And I don't know, I might go to Ollie's and get a Moff Gideon figure or something to send that person who gets closest.
Whoop-de-doo. So Matthew and I will be able to discuss those numbers next Tuesday, but I will not reveal the list you and I compiled. But those numbers will come out. They'll be done Monday night at midnight, I assume.
Yeah, I think we might be talking about that briefly. If it's what I'm thinking.
So, but yeah, we'll see. Anyway, so yeah. So what? Do you guys want to see me back this thing like right now? Do you want to watch it on the screen? It's gonna happen. I don't know, man.
We know you're going back it. Yeah. Hey, there's my text message.
Hello. Yeah, no, I'm gonna get it. There's without a doubt. But I'm impatient in some things. And ding, 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 ding. That is the person that said 19K. So I'm impatient in some things and patient in others. And this is one thing that I'm pretty patient in, I guess. But I starred one comment from Bobby Wald. I want to go back to it. Yeah.
It's when we were talking about Giant Man, and I just thought it was funny. Said, Aaron, I saved money and just bought a Giant Man costume from Halloween Spirit Express so I can play with my legends. So he is Giant Man.
Oh, Lord.
I just thought that was funny.
And yes, if
Uh,
it came in purple war chest, I would have 2 in the cart. I agree with you 100%.
I know a couple people that can make that happen if you want to get one to have it customized.
Oh, whew. I don't know.
That's an expensive proposition, isn't it?
Yeah,
That's like I couldn't imagine. I know there's people that do it, and they kind of it's one of the things they kind of stake their, their name and stuff on is getting
yes.
that new stuff and taking it apart and doing stuff to it. But
That's a
that just
little too much for me.
even if I knew even if I knew what I was doing, unless I just had money, if I had money to buy, like a bunch of them,
Right.
maybe, and with no plans to try to get some of that money back by flipping one later or something, I could see that. But man, I just cannot see getting a $325 Rattler and taking it apart. But if you do want to go that route, Pop, I do know some people that can paint it Prince purple for you.
I know that you do. I definitely know that you do. There's a few of them here.
Yes, there are. Let's say what's up to Lawrence, Punk with Toys. Thanks for dropping in, buddy. I appreciate you coming by.
Hey.
We're speculating on the Rattler. Do you think we're going to get Baroness?
I'd like to get Baroness.
I'd like to get one. Hey, vroom, vroom.
Hey.
Yeah, we were just kind of talking about the Facebook groups with all of the posts going, oh, we might not make it, guys. I don't know if we're going to get the Baroness. Yeah, we're going to get the Baroness.
So. This Friday, by the way, right? This Friday night, Punk's Pit.
Oh,
First Friday of every month now is when Punk's Pit is happening. So for you members out there in the chat, coming up this Friday night will be Punk's Pit, where you can come on and hang out and shoot the shit with everybody and just kind of chill, talk about whatever. We talked about women and jobs and car, whatever. We talked about everything.
One time we talked about how to make bathtub gin. I don't know where that came from, but it sounded good. So we did not give gin recipes.
I was going to say, I don't think Punk would be talking about how to make bathtub gin. If he did, he wouldn't say much.
Yeah, really not.
Yeah.
Punk says I bought Skiff Lando from Ross this week for $6, doing my part to get him off the pegs. Well, he's going to be replaced by the Acolyte figures before long.
Oh yeah,
so
May and
how long before Skiff Lando just gets melted down and something else made out of
dude. That's the thing, though. These things don't get melted down, bro. You see toys. Look, we still see Force Awakens toys. You still see Rose Tico. You still see Rose Tico figures at Ollie's and places like that, right? Like, come on. No.
I do need to get one of those Skiff Landos before they do get sold for pennies on the dollar. Just because, Lando and so I do need to pick one up. It's just not really something I'm like, I gotta have that figure. So say hi to Christine Mendoza. How are you doing? Thank you for coming by.
Hell
so let's swap gears and we'll talk about another type of pre-order. Talk about these guys right here. So these are all the rage right now and damn well deserved, I do believe. So we got the pre-orders over the weekend for the Rev line, which is the Ramen Economical Vans, previously known as the bread car or the bread van. And Ramen actually on a live stream, he actually explained where that name came from for when he was calling it the bread car. It's actually, it's Mandarin. It translates from Mandarin into bread car, so that was kind of the code name for what he was calling it. I thought that was really, really interesting. Frostbite high on the P Do van again. Do re mi.
We saw it at the same time. We saw it at the same time.
I was trying to say it without saying it, but I
It's
said it anyway.
yeah.
So I don't
There's
whatever.
a way, but whatever.
I
Anyway, yeah,
I do
it's funny.
GAF. I'm not
The thing of it
promoting
is
it.
though, this one doesn't have like the bubble window. It's either you get the bubble window on the side towards the back, or you get the one that just has like it's just blacked out. That would be
So
that van, Frostbite.
no, yeah. So you've got different ones to choose from. You got the white, you got the black, then you have the Raider, and you have the Recoil, which is the alphabet team van has been the code word for that.
Yeah.
So basically, the Raider van is the Recoil. It's just in black. The wheels are blacked out. Um, and then you've got your basic black van, your basic white van. All of these things look freaking fantastic. And I mean, dude, this thing for 125 bucks for the 18 version with the add-ons, it just is so it is so awesome.
Yeah, we
I'm
talked right a little bit last night. I know it says like 125. It says 180. It's got the slash through it.
mhm.
180 for me would be a little bit much. I think 125 I'm cool with. I think 180 would be a little more than I think for me. But at 125 with how solid this thing looks, scale wise and everything, like I'm good with that.
And we saw it, we not this one, but we saw the black one, the solid black one was
Yes.
the one that he had at Joe Fest,
Yep.
and that Punk famously picked up and shook. And shook all of the accessories and shit around in it. I did not see that. I wish I'd have been standing over there when that happened, but I was not. I had to hear about it secondhand from Tony.
Right.
So I'm with you. I think 180 is a little bit steep, but actually seeing some of the stuff on like the racer and things, the quality, the craftsmanship and stuff, it's there. The stuff's really well detailed. I mean, it is probably worth it. I think I'd have a hard time doing 180 on it, but it's gonna ultimately be worth it because the number of them that are going to be made, just the scarcity of it versus something like a Hasbro vehicle.
Yeah.
You know, they're gonna beef it up on the secondary market, so it's gonna be worth it. But I would, but at one, so this one, I really like this one, the Raider. So this is just the blacked out version of the 18 one. It comes with the add-ons in all black. I really like this one. Even just the stock, when it changes pictures here, just the stock van
No, it's
right
sweet
there
looking. Yeah, it
with
looks great.
the blacked out wheels,
Right.
even
Looks
without the spoiler. And I think there's so many applications for something like this. I like the plain white one, just the plain Jane, the P van.
Well, for one, like just with the scoop, down low, like it's ground effects, it just looks good. Just a good looking toy, man. I mean, it looks solid, looks thick as a brick. I mean, the offering 4 different colors in it, and then
Yeah,
obviously the 18. I mean, come on, like
yeah.
you
If he'd have put this thing out without doing the 18 version of it, everybody would have been going, well, why didn't he make an 18 one? I'm going to have to customize it. And he
100%.
knows that. And he just went ahead and give it to us. So,
Yes.
and he did recently announce that on the Recoil of the 18 one, I did not even notice. I have not looked at this picture blown up. I did not even notice that the damn A team is right
back there in
here
the
in the picture.
background. Yeah,
And there's a big
saw that.
A.
I saw that last night, kind of. And the other thing with this one looking, so if you look at the other ones, like this one also has like you notice over the top with the lights, and it's got kind of the cover over the windshield there.
Mm-hmm.
So there's differences between them. and because the black one, the white one are both kind of plain, and then you
Yeah.
get kind of that extra accessory with I think the Raider and the 18 one, and the lights. I mean,
And the
looks good,
lights are
man.
amber on this
Yeah,
one
man.
versus clear on the
Yes.
others. All of the add-on lights sets it off. And he did announce that he is going to paint, because it doesn't show it in any of the pictures. The top of this one is going to be the metallic gray. So
Okay.
it's not black on top. The gray is going to go all the way
Because
up.
it looks like that looks matte from here.
Yeah, but then
Doesn't
again,
it?
this is
Finish?
probably just a paint master, like a mock up. So, but he said metallic. That was how he described it. It was going to be metallic.
Yeah.
And there was something else that he posted today that he was going to throw in too. I forgot what it was, and anybody that's ordered it is going to be getting that as well. I'll see if I can find real quick what it was that he posted.
Is it on Instagram?
It was on his Facebook.
Armored windshield to be included with recoil.
Yeah.
Right.
So on the recoil, the windshield armor.
Yeah, it says armored windshield to be included with recoil, and it's got the grill on the front with the amber lights. Yep, that's it right there.
So that, and he does say, for everybody that have already ordered, yes, you will get this add-on automatically too. So I thought that was badass that they're throwing in.
That's cool.
The armored windshield with it too, just because people had, requested it. That's the good thing about a company like Ramen, is he can adjust on the fly and add that stuff, and he really does do fan service. Like a lot of the stuff that we've gotten with the stuff we've seen from him so far has been stuff that people have messaged him or posted and requested, and he's went ahead and added it and done it. So kudos to Ramen, because I am definitely sold on the ramen stuff. So I was wanting to know. I know you didn't, but anybody in the chat ordered any of the Rev vans? And Frostbite, sure as shit, someone's going to buy that white van and paint free candy on the side and use it 100%. In a diorama. Baldy Locks has already said he is going to write or paint free puppies and candy on his.
I could see getting the black one and putting the Punisher skull on it.
That's what a lot of people are wanting that blacked out one for, the Raider. Mm-hmm. That's what a lot of people are wanting this one for.
Yeah. Aaron's getting all four of them.
That's
and Woody's getting one of each.
So this is perfect for Punisher, man.
Oh yeah, come on. Then put a little microchip finger in the back.
Yeah, that's something we need. We need a microchip, but we need classic microchip.
Classic.
We need comic microchip. Oh man, 100%. Microchip. Jigsaw cutting off his pinkies and his fingers microchip. I like how they did this and get the stats at the bottom for the attributes for each van.
Yeah,
I don't know if you noticed that.
Well, I was mentioning that last night. I thought it was funny because I went through each statistic or each.
I wasn't listening at that time.
Yeah, it was. I just thought it was funny because it's like, so are you going to be able to notice that when you roll it? You going to be able to understand when you play with it, the torque and the armor and the braking. Great. I'm curious.
That must have been when I had you muted and was working on what I was working on.
Yeah, maybe so. I did want to say, War Chest said, I almost want to pick up a white one and add a bubble window and airbrush a wizard down the side. Yes, that would.
We're going to see it.
Classic.
I can't wait to see what people that have some major airbrush skills are going to be able to do with it and actually be able, because we're going to see it. I mean, he's making these, mostly for customizers, the plain white and the black one. I mean, that's what he's doing it for, is for people that want to do stuff like that. I cannot wait to see what some of it looks like.
Yes.
So also want to bring up the tank. So we got the Hunter. He has extended the early bird on this to the 20th. So that's why it did not end when it was originally slated to. And I really think it's because he has not hit the number that he really wants, which is 15 for the blast effect. And I ordered this thing. I really want him to hit 15 for that blast effect too.
That's cool. That's cool. That's sweet.
And
Definitely different than you usually see.
yeah, so 140 on this versus 200. So you're basically saving what the shipping is going to run on it
Right.
on this. And then he did announce that he is doing in the other tank, the black tank the Amphisbana, can never pronounce that. He is going to go ahead and do the bridge and the missile launcher for the Wolverine in black for that tank. And he is also going to do it for the one that was the Joe Fest exclusive in the desert tan.
Yeah.
He is going to do the launcher and the bridge for that one for anybody that ordered it at Joe Fest. And that is the only way. He's not reissuing that tank. He said that he is going to that was a Joe Fest exclusive, and he believes exclusives are exclusive. So even though he is going to make the swappable attachments for it in that color, he's not going to reissue that tank. And I gotta say that's kind of a bold move. I applaud him for doing that. Like if you bought that tank at Joe Fest and you were sad because you couldn't get the bridge in that color,
Right.
now you can. And probably not a lot of people are going to buy that tan bridge for the green tank.
Right. Right.
So let's see what we got in comments here. I know you've been looking at them.
I've been looking a little bit.
That would be great. I need Teen Wolf, but I need Scott Teen Wolf. I need Michael J. Fox, and I need Styles to drive.
I just want to see like roof surfing, car surfing.
That could be, man. You could do some good stuff with that. You could do that easy
absolutely.
with the van, man. That
Punk said his 3D printer guy ordered 2 and one of each of the tanks.
Oh damn.
Yeah.
DHL on the side. Does it even get a top speed or accelerations? It probably doesn't. Probably gets a pace stat, and it's a 1.
Probably gets an overpriced shipping stat.
Yeah. So your 3D printer guy, that's Greg, right? So he got one of each. What the vans, Punk? He got one of each van.
No.
Two of
tank.
each van.
They said, what 2 1 each of the tank, maybe 2 of the vans and one of each of the tanks, maybe.
Are they hiring where he works?
Right,
because he buys everything.
Really? Yeah, that's true. Daredevil Dave, what is going on with you, buddy? Good to see you.
Dave, how you doing, man?
Little Southside hustlers over here.
Southside.
That's all we do.
If it said free GI Joes, we'd all jump in.
Man, you already know.
War Chest picked up 2 of the tanks, so I got the green one, and I got the bridge layer, and I need to order the Wolverine attachment, because if I don't, I will kick myself later when it's $100.
Oh, right. Yeah, no. If you're going to, you better do it. Legend Series is in the house too.
What's happening, Legend Series? How you doing, buddy? From another handsome devil, from one handsome devil to another. What's going on, brother?
Very talented man right there. Legend
Midnight
Series.
Madness movie van. Midnight Mad. Seems like I should know what that is, and I might.
I'm surprised you don't. I am shocked, actually, that you don't. The thing of it is, compared to hearses, there's probably a lot more famous vans out there, right? You know what I
Oh
mean?
yeah, for sure.
So, um,
So
yeah,
this is what
yeah,
Monk
yeah,
was
yeah.
talking about.
With the flames. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the one I thought that he was talking about, but I had to refresh. But yeah, yeah, the amount of famous vans now in recent years, not so much. But in the 70s and 80s, when those types of vans were like hot to trot, uh, very in fashion to have a van.
That is a badass van, actually. I don't know, now that I'm seeing that, I don't know if I've ever seen that movie. I don't know if I've ever seen that movie. I'm looking at different pictures.
War Chest says I'll have that theme song in my head now all night. The theme
I'll have
from
I'll have to look that up because I don't remember that movie. I know I've heard Punk and maybe Matthew talk about that before, but I have not. I don't recall seeing that, which is odd because I see most stuff. So I'll have to go back. Is that on? Is it streaming anywhere? I'll have to look and see if it's
Oh
streaming.
man, you gotta probably that's one of the ones you're gonna have to rent. Like you're gonna have to dig that one up and
Yeah,
rent.
probably,
You know,
probably so.
it's your classic Animal House, Revenge of the Nerds ish kind of goofy comedy teen. You know, probably has some boobies in there.
Yeah, and I'm all for that. Boobies in a van, I'm there. I like vans. I've always liked vans, and I've always liked wagons. So I guess hence, probably why I always liked hearses. I like wagons. I like horror movies. So that kind of went together. Um, but I've always had a thing for
Yep.
vans and for wagons. I love the old Vista wagons with the panoramic glass in the corners.
Yeah.
I always really like those. So that's why I really the Rev vans. That's why I really do want one because you can do so much stuff with it. We hadn't really gotten anything like that before. Just a base van. So I bet there's somebody out there, Punk, who probably will airbrush that up.
Uh yeah, Punk, the funny thing is a lot of times some of your best ideas or things that come up to you are definitely not when you're either on or when you're planning on a show. And then all of a sudden you get reminded of something and you're like, dang it, I should have brought that up. Right. Uh I know
Yeah.
that happens to me. There's stuff that I completely miss. Sometimes there's stuff I email stories to myself and then forget that I've even done that. and then and it's something I thought was interesting at the time
Whoops.
that I need to bring up. And then I didn't even find, I didn't even look for it. And so I've gone back and been like, what is this? What is this article? And I'm like, damn it.
And we did a whole thing, or you did a whole thing, and because I was there for it, Punk, on the movie cars. So yeah, and now I see why you're mad that you never brought it up because we did you had a whole episode on the movie
Yeah,
cars.
yeah, yeah.
Uh,
Right.
she says Munsters, and Christine says Munsters and groovy ghoulish cars. Yes, I am all about that. And speaking of groovy and ghoulish, let's talk about these guys because they got pushed back to October. And I pulled up Declan. This is the Operation Monster Force, of course, that we've all been waiting for. I've got Declan pulled up because he is one that I have pre-ordered, so that's the only reason I pulled him up. So
Yeah.
they pushed these things back again. I know, like Punk has talked about. Like he's not mad. He'll get it when he gets it. That's money he don't have to spend right now. And I get it, but I'm tired of hearing about these things, man. Like we saw them, we saw the paint masters or whatever the samples we saw were at Joe Fest. And at Joe Fest, because I've said this on here before, they told me when I asked that they were on the water heading here now in the shipping container. That was when we were down there in, was it June? So then
Yeah,
they post
man.
a picture of everything headed to the shipping container, and we're like, oh, we forgot to post this, and it's the picture of all of the boxes. We forgot to post this, a week or so ago. This is all of the Monster Force Wave 1 heading to the shipping container. I'm like, when did y'all take that picture? Because you told me in June that they were on the way here then, and now it's pushed to October. So
a little birdie that I know kind of filled me in a little bit too, from an opinion standpoint about being, really slow to deliver, over promising. And if that continues for a long period of time, people just get tired of it and they move on, no matter what the product is.
Yeah, I know they've had issues with
that's
that.
tough because then you're talking about it right now. You know what I mean? Like you're literally talking about it right now, and eventually people find somewhere else to go, right? And
Yeah,
so that's tough. And then if it's a restocking thing too, right? Then that becomes a consistent issue. And so that's just what I have heard talking about it. I am not as familiar with these guys as you are.
yeah, and I'm not as familiar with them as a lot of other people are,
Right.
because there's other people that have been waiting on them, longer than I have. I think I've only got 4 of these guys pre-ordered, and 2 of the ones that I have pre-ordered are not even in the first series. So I got Declan and I've got the heavy weapons guy pre-ordered out of the first series, because I mean I'd like to get more of them, but they're $37 a piece, man. So I'm not going. I can't be all in on this line by any means. I can't even get. I'm not even to where I can get like a bunch of these guys. So I'm going to have to be pretty picky and choosy.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like go ahead and give them to us, because we saw that the Fwoosh the Robo video, and where he's got all of them, or all the Wave 1, and they look better than what we saw. They look better than what we saw when we saw them in person at Joe Fest, and those were just whatever they were, paint masters, I think was what Travis Moody told me was what those guys were. So I'm kind of tired of, like, everybody's waiting on them. Just hurry up. Don't say nothing else till they get here.
That's tough, right? Because eventually you see enough posts and stuff, and it's like, okay, yeah, that's great. Okay, what the hell? It's like, let's get it on. Let's go. But if that's a consistent issue, right? And then eventually your funding may just kind of dry up.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I can see it, but I don't know. Like, I don't know how far along they are with like the Wave 2 figures, because there's more figures coming than what I originally, like in the first wave, than I thought there were. But like this is the main dude I want right here.
He looks great.
Dr. Kelly.
I was scrolling through, like, yeah, it looks super cool, man. Like I do like the look of these. They are interesting to me. There are some things I think that, everybody really likes that just don't speak to me. And then there are things that everybody likes that do. And then there's just stuff for whatever reason, and again, not being somebody who really strays outside of the G.I. Joe classified line, right now in particular, and maybe ever, I don't know. I do like these. I really do. But if getting them, is an issue, then yeah, $37 a pop or whatever, right? There's only so many you can do. And then if you're waiting, it's people are going to get tired of that.
Yeah. So I don't know. I just wanted to highlight it because I think Warchest said earlier he had an email from BBTS and hoped that it was something about Monster Force.
Oh, yeah. I saw that
so
chat.
I didn't start, but I knew it was coming up. So I did want to touch on that comment, because if it was, It's probably that they're delayed until November or some shit.
And War Chest makes a good comment here too. For $36,
Yeah.
you can get a sweet ass gridiron loadout and a free figure, right?
That's about the truth.
Right. So yeah, it's tough. I don't know. And to be quite honest with you, just for full disclosure, my little birdie is Matthew Matson.
Yeah, I figured.
He's the one that filled me in on the situation going on right here, and he knows
Yeah.
way more than I do. So
I figured that might be your
I want to
birdie,
sound
but-
intelligent for once.
right. So this was the other dude I've got ordered is the heavy weapons guy. And the three of these guys are just about the same, but he's got the green highlights. But they come with so much stuff. Like that's what I wanted to get to on this figure. What War Chest just said. I mean, look at all the different stuff that he comes with.
Yeah.
Like and this stuff it's gridiron weapons. So I just think they look sweet. Like the whole aesthetic, the whole. World War II meets steampunk, meets modern times, meets monsters. It's just the idea is great. I'm just ready to go ahead and to have them and see what they're all about. I've got the Joe Fest ones, and there's only so far you can go with those because they're translucent.
I will tell you what. I am actually a sucker for, and I'm going to bring it up real quick. And I believe so look, there was a comic book. There was a comic book that I used to collect, and a huge fan. And it was a Sergeant Rock comics. And I had a bunch of them. I loved Sergeant Rock when I was a kid, and I loved going through them because those comics went back years and years before I was born, and we're still continuing on, in that time period. And I think it was McFarlane Sergeant Rock, if I'm not mistaken. I love that character. I always have. I did see there was an animated movie, and they've done some things, supernatural stuff with him. And monsters and stuff like that in recent times. I was a big fan of the World War II and the fighting the Yahtzees and all that kind of stuff. I really enjoyed those stories. I do like the look of that Sergeant Rock figure though.
It's out. I saw a picture this week or just within the last few days. Somebody seeing it on a shelf.
I'm pretty sure in it. I believe it's this one right here. If I'm not mistaken. Well, come on, baby. Why is it not?
While that's loading, I do want to Christine's comment. These look awesome. Monster Force Classified hits me right in the nostalgia, and that's kind of where you're at with it.
Yeah. Is this the one right here?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, I do. Look, I dig this. Like I love some Sergeant Rock. I ain't gonna lie. I wish I had a way to kind of get this on the screen without it looking so goofy trying to go through the pictures. But those comics,
unavoidable that way.
it is the way it is because they got the big McFarlane banner up top, so they kind of screw you on it. So for me though, Shovel, I need a Thompson submachine gun.
Yeah.
I need a Thompson submachine gun. I don't need a shovel. And because in every Sergeant Rock comic, basically, he was using it like a Thompson. And but anyway, so I knew that I saw that earlier today. And I do though. I loved me some Sergeant Rock when I was a kid. Those comics.
Yeah, you had a bunch of Sergeant Rocks.
Yeah.
Used to draw him.
Yep. Yeah. Love him.
And Christine says she just saw Punk's review. He just reviewed that figure earlier today. I think. I hadn't watched it yet.
That is exactly what came up. That's the reason why I saw it, is because yes, that review came up, and so I started watching it until while I was waiting on my son in the ortho, I think, and then when he came out like soon thereafter, and we had to hop in the car and take off. But that's what reminded me of it. I was like, oh yeah, I'm all about that.
Yeah.
So anyway,
so let's see. One other thing I can think of, I do want to bring up before we start on our topic, and
Yeah.
you are well aware of what this one is.
Oh yeah.
So, who's gonna go this weekend? Who's going to Beetlejuice this weekend? Starts. I'm sure there's showings of. I hadn't looked. I'm sure it's going to
Thursday
start showing
night.
tomorrow night. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm planning on going Saturday. Um, I'm really, really, really looking forward to this movie, and this is on. I'm looking at Bloody Disgusting here, and there's some new promo pictures and stuff that they've come out that I think were neat. I saw those and was going to pull them up. I think that was the last one of the new ones. Yeah, so it just to me this really really does speak to me. I love Beetlejuice. So I just wondering who all was planning on going to see it, this weekend. I know you are not planning on. Are you going to see it in the theater at all? You think?
Yeah. I may probably will because I want to be able to talk about it with Matthew on a Tuesday night. I don't know that I'm going to actually see it on this weekend because I am off Friday, but I've got a couple things I need to do, and even Friday night, obviously. But then Saturday I've got to work. Sunday I've got to work. So if I could catch it Sunday afternoon after I get out of work, I may very well be able to try to do that. That'd be my best opportunity.
Nice fucking model. I remember we watched this in school. I don't
Isn't
remember.
that amazing?
Yes, I don't remember. It was high school, and it was probably somewhere along 10th grade, probably somewhere around my sophomore year. By which time I had seen this movie, unmeasurable amount of times,
Yes.
and I knew it was coming, and a lot of people in class did. And I'm wondering, like, did the teacher know, like, that this was coming up?
I
Like,
don't know.
the rest of it's not too bad, but as far as language anyway, but just the whole undertone of this movie, seeing it being shown in school, like you said, like they would never get away with this today. Like, oh, this movie scars somebody. It's about the afterlife and ghosts, and we can't have that. So,
I there's some things about it that I'd say are a little maybe not risque, but just to show to students in school. I don't know.
yeah, that. I mean, it's nothing in the
It's
movies
one
like
of those things that
risque, but
it appeals to kids because it's goofy, the practical effect, but then you have adult jokes
oh yeah,
that go right
yeah,
over kids' head, right?
yeah. But I mean, by like 10th grade, you know what's going on.
Uh
so,
yeah. I mean, shoot, for
so
me, man, it was like third grade,
yeah,
dog.
right. Community college. So Derek Holloman says he won't be this weekend, but he's gonna see it. War Chest is gonna pass, but he's gonna watch it at home. AA Ron says he's going probably next weekend. Dreadnought not gonna see it. Christine Beetlejuice and Pee Wee's Big Adventure. Are you going to see it, Christine? I don't think we're going to get any more Pee Wee movies.
And yeah,
I got a
and to
feeling
add
they're
on,
not going to do any more of those.
right. But and to add on to Dreadnought's comment too, because he says, if people he knows sees it, change his mind. So if Matthew and I can maybe see it this weekend at some point in time, maybe we can talk about it Tuesday. Maybe we can change his mind, or maybe we can add to his already thought of not wanting to go see it.
And I will be in that chat.
So we'll see. Maybe so. Maybe Tuesday you may be reinforced in your idea, or maybe you might want to go see it. I'll give you an honest review, especially considering your other comment there, right there.
Yeah,
I will tell you what's up.
Yeah, and you definitely will. So, and I'm afraid they're going to make it for a modern audience, all the Rings of Power, Halo, etc. I have that fear too, and I don't think they're going to go quite as heavy down that road as other things we've seen. They know they've got to nail this movie.
Yeah.
We've been waiting for this movie for 35 years. Is this 35-year-old sequel in the making here?
And
So
Jenna Ortega is in it, and I do have faith in her based off of comments, interviews, and
yeah,
things I have seen of her, even just really recently. So I do have faith in her not being one of the NPCs of Hollywood and actually being somebody who is different and
yeah,
doesn't want to go down that road. So,
and
so
she is
we'll
also fire in her acting chops.
Yeah,
She's
she's really good.
great.
Yeah, no, she's really, really good. Yeah, the Wednesday is really good. She's really good. I haven't seen all of it. I've seen a couple episodes of it, but she was really good. So yeah, so I do have faith in her. Unlike most of Hollywood, I do have faith in
Yeah,
her to not go down that road and choose projects that don't do that. I also believe Michael Keaton also would not. He's a
yeah.
actor that wants to be in good stuff.
Yep, that's why
Uh,
we don't see him in tons of stuff.
Everything, right?
Yeah, he's not just taking a paycheck.
Yeah.
He's
The
not somebody.
Flash movie was probably a pretty good paycheck, I'd say. And the Batwoman or Batgirl, whatever,
Yeah,
that never aired. They never put it
that
in
we never
theaters.
saw.
He got a nice check for that. But I think, the Flash thing was a ability to put back the old Batman costume
Yeah,
on and do that and at least for fans, you know. So
yeah, and it might have been that might have been a shitty movie, but his part was good and it was true. Um, what he did in it, and even though the movie might not have been received well, I
yeah.
think for his part in it, for what he did, I think he did it just as well as he could have done it. In if he was actually Batman in his own Batman movie, maybe we'll finally get a Batman Beyond. Who knows? And maybe they'll have him. A person can dream, but
Yeah.
other
It
than a
looks
couple
pretty
of
good.
couple of forced dialogue lines in Flash, but other than that, I was kind of
Oh
happy.
yeah, but this movie looks pretty good. It's projected to do between 70 and 80 million opening, which is pretty good. Everybody forgets the original movie, even though it wasn't like some $500 million maker. It only had like an 80 million. I think it did. Was it 80 million on a really cheap budget, or I think the
Yeah,
budget was pretty low. So like, they and I think too, with Tim Burton, if you're nostalgic for Tim Burton,
the
uh,
aesthetic.
and his style and
Mhm.
everything, right? Then it's just fun to revisit that kind of his style. I guess now it doesn't hit like it did back when Edward Scissorhands came out and
Right.
Beetlejuice came out and all the other movies, Batman. But at one time, he was like, that was it. Everybody wanted to try to recreate his style, that he did. So I don't know. We'll see. But it's yeah, $15 million budget and in 1988 or whatever, and it did $73 million. So it made money. So they're probably this budget on this movie is probably not that large, and they're hoping to make a decent profit off of it.
and
I
they
don't
and they're
not gonna
they
do a
used
billion.
they used from what I've seen quite a bit of practical effects in this one as well.
Right.
We'll see what the ratio is, when we see it. But actually, I think my biggest concern with this movie is if they are going to try to bring it, this era, whatever, all
Modern
inclusive,
audiences, whatever.
wokeness, yeah, modern
Right.
audience nonsense.
Right.
And it is a slight fear of a little bit of that. But actually, Tim Burton is one of my bigger fears of this movie because Tim Burton, like you mentioned, his style and his, the stuff that we come to know him for early years when this movie came out, when one come out. Over time, we just kind of got used to it. We got acclimated to it, and his movies kind of got worse and worse. And he's made some awful movies with his kind of signature aesthetics, and I hope he can return to form with this movie and wow us like he did when the first one come out.
Yeah.
As far as the direction and some of the writing, we waited a long time for this movie. They know how high the expectations are going to be. I think it's almost too big to fail, but never count Hollywood out.
I mean, look, hey, man, I can understand that, but if it's not good, you're gonna know about it. I mean,
Oh
yeah,
yeah,
that's kind of like Christine, kind of what we're saying about, yes, he can direct a great movie if he doesn't let his style get in the way. But look, man, here's the deal. This is a fact of life, folks. Whether you're talking about musicians, whether you're talking about directors, you're talking about maybe even actors, you're talking about, as people age, like, you just don't have your fastball anymore, your
yeah,
creativity meter. Now, are there people who have surpassed that? Are there people, the exceptions to the rule? Yes, there are. But you know as well as I do, if you went to see Foreigner in 1977 and you went to see Foreigner last year,
yeah,
Foreigner ain't throwing fastballs no more.
right,
If you saw a punk band in 1982 and you saw that same punk band 4 years ago, they're not angry at the world anymore. They're not angry at the man anymore. When you talk about actors, directors, musicians, doesn't matter. It just is a fact of life. It happens. And I think with creative people, you have a lot of creative juices. And when you're younger, man, everything is new. Your experiences, you're just pulling all this stuff. Some directors have been able to maintain that, but Ridley Scott has given us some great stuff, but Ridley Scott's made some stinking movies.
yeah,
It doesn't matter. James Cameron has not made great every movie. Michael Bay hasn't made great movies. Steven Spielberg hasn't made every great movie. George Lucas hasn't. You can go on and on. So, that's part of it. It's just part of the human condition, and so we'll see if he's able to recapture some of that magic.
yep,
It just, I hope so. I hope this movie does great just because I'm interested in it. I'm also interested to see if hopefully companies start changing their ways, like has been mentioned. But we'll see,
yeah. We
if
can, we can, we can hope.
but so yeah, I may see it Sunday. I don't know yet, but I would definitely interested, and I'll have to get with Matthew too and see if he's planning on it, and that give us something to talk about, obviously. But
Yes,
whatever.
sir.
Anyway,
Well, all right. Well, it's about time to get into our topic. I am going to see if you want to tag team
yeah,
in and out for a restroom
yeah,
break
yep.
because
And I'm gonna
sit
fix
here and
another coffee too, so that way get me another one ready for this last hour. So if you want to go first or whatever you want me to, it's your call.
all right, I will be back
Yep.
momentarily, and we're going to talk about some toys that we want to be stranded on a desert island with, and we
Yeah.
will expound in a couple minutes. So I
Yes.
shall return.
All righty then. Yeah, so just going down the chat a little bit too, man. And Christine, going back to that comment about letting Michael Keaton be the OG Beetlejuice. Yeah, it's tough, right? Because there's now a thought process that some jokes just aren't funny anymore. And I don't believe that. Um, are some jokes classless or very crass? Yes, they are. But that's what makes that character that character. If you take that away from that character, then that character is no longer Beetlejuice. You have neutered that character by not allowing that person or the writing for that character to be as good or as what it was. So we will definitely see. No, I do not think Alec. I didn't kill no one. Baldwin. I don't think he's in it. Dreadnought or Gina Davis, unless they do make a surprise appearance somehow, and that is possible. Haven't heard anything about it. Haven't seen any reviews, any embargoes lifted yet about it. So as far as that's concerned, I don't know, but it wouldn't surprise me if there was maybe a surprise cameo or something like that in there. Um, let's see what else we got. Eric Thurman was in love with Winona, who wasn't. Edward Scissorhands. Blazing Saddles. Yes. Could that movie be made today? No. Um, I am shocked. I am 100% shocked that the mob has not tried to come for Mel Brooks yet. Still alive. But yeah, shocked at that. But no, and I don't think that movie could get made today for sure. And if they tried to do it or remake it, it would be a farce. It would be a shadow of its former self, even if he was involved with it. Even if he was involved with it, I do not think they could make it. That's my favorite comment. Excuse me while I whip this out. Oh my goodness. It's a great meme too. If you make content, that's a great one to put to your repertoire if you make videos. Snatch it off of YouTube, cut it and trim it, insert it. Wait a minute, slap it up, flip it, rub it down. Oh no.
Oh no.
All right, I'm gonna go fix me a cup of coffee and hit the head. And I shall return momentarily.
All right, we'll be right here waiting on you.
I bet you will.
Eagerly anticipating your return. So I was kind of listening because these headphones actually pick up a few feet away. Blazing Saddles, yeah, it is one of the funniest movies. For somebody that can try to keep a halfway objective opinion and still actually has a sense of humor about things and does not get offended over every little thing that comes down the pike. Blazing Saddles, timeless is the word for that movie. It's funny. It's always going to be funny. Somebody that actually has a good sense of humor, understands humor, understands culture and shifts in culture. That movie will always be a classic. Mongo's coming. That movie was fantastic. No, it would never ever get made today. There's no way. And I heard what he said about surprised the mob has not come for Mel Brooks yet. It's because Mel Brooks really hasn't done anything, for a while in his style, especially. I don't think I don't think if Mel Brooks tried to make anything currently and be Mel Brooks, I don't think that it would ever get. I don't think it ever get off the ground. His name, I mean, he's a classic to us, but I don't think he probably carries as much weight in Hollywood as he once did to overcome all of the protests and garbage that there would be letting him make a movie in the style of something like that. Yeah, until as a teenager you're offended by it until you get older and you learn about interactions between people, right? Maybe you make friends from different ethnicities and you can cut up with them. And that is a movie that you probably should have a little bit of age on you before you can watch it. And I saw it. I mean, I probably saw that movie when I was 9 or 10, maybe. But I mentioned before, I got to watch just about everything that I wanted to watch. Of course, unless it was just X or something crazy like that, there were only a few things I couldn't watch. But if you go back and you watch that Blazing Saddles as you're older and you've made some of those connections and had some of those life experiences, you're like, holy shit, this is brilliant. Like, this is such satire, and it's brilliant that he could even come up with this and be well received as it was then, because it was controversial then, but people weren't as offended by everything. Yeah, Tropical Thunder. Yeah, that's another good one. That's another really good movie. I need to watch it. I've never actually seen Tropic Thunder all the way through, and most people cannot believe when I tell them that. I've seen it pieced together, but I have never sat down and watched it to the end from like the halfway point. It's just one of those movies when it come out I didn't have any interest in, and as time grew and as the legend or whatever cult status of that movie grew, I'd see a little more and a little more. I need to sit down and watch it beginning to end. What's up to D Griff? Yeah, I agree with it. That was a shitty movie though, but I see what you're saying about being about as close as you're going to get to Mel Brooks. But Seth MacFarlane is a whole lot more potty humor type humor than Mel Brooks was. Mel Brooks stuff was smart. Not that I don't think Seth MacFarlane is not smart. It's just it's close, but it's a little more lowbrow, I think, than Mel Brooks ever was. I've never seen Paws of Fury. Blazing with Animal. I will have to hunt that down then. Blazing Saddles remake with dogs and cats. I'll have to check that out. What's up, Lunchbox Killer? How you doing, buddy? Glad to see you here. Let's see. What Paws of Fury, Eric, you saw in the theater? I'll have to check it out. Oh no, never. Not like what we'll never see Raw and Delirious out of him again. He don't need to. He's made his money. You're muted.
Sorry, I was moving my mic. So yeah, no, you won't see that. But I also don't think he has it in him to do that anyway because he's older, and I think a lot of his not that he was aggressive, but a lot of his stuff is at that time he was like 19 years old. You know what I mean? Like the energy, the delivery and everything. Now, somebody who still does somewhat bring that kind of energy is Chris Rock. And I saw his most recent special and it was really good, especially after the Will Smith incident. It was actually really, really good. And he brings that energy still to the stage. It's like he stalks the stage and walks back and forth. And Eddie, you know, I just don't know if Eddie would even have it in him now to do something like that. He hadn't done stand up in God knows how.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Again,
since
I mean,
the 80s probably.
He hasn't had to. I'm with you. I don't think he's got the energy, and I think his views on things by now would have changed a whole lot since then.
I just would have loved to seen him have better choices of films over the years, man. Like I think he could have done a lot as a comedian from his early stuff, but when he started making a lot of more family films, actually, is really when he kind of fell off there and people just stopped paying attention.
Yeah, I think so too. I agree with all of what you said there. So let's get into our topic here. So you want to go over and set some kind of parameters
Set the table, so to speak.
Yeah, this was a topic that you had come up with. We kicked a couple back and forth, and we liked this one.
Yeah.
So you want to fill the gang in on how we're going to do this?
Yeah, we bounced a few things back and forth, kind of tried to set some parameters on this. So if you were in a boat that sank or a plane crash, kind of like Tom Hanks and whatever, you know, and you could only, let's say, a box or washed up onto the island, right? You make it on a desert island and a deserted island, and you could only have 7 items from the Real American Hero toy line. Okay, so that could be a vehicle without the driver, though.
Well, we said G.I. Joe.
Yeah, G.I. Joe
have to be Real American Hero.
Well, yeah. Well, yeah. I thought we talked about that. It doesn't matter really, but for me, I was keeping in the Real American Hero line only because if you were talking about, like, let's say Classified or something like that, you know, to me, it's like it's almost one and the same. But bottom line is, if you could have 7 things, so you can't have a vehicle. Well, number one, we did talk about it because the scales don't match. It'd be weird to have a his tank with a Real American Hero figure. It'd be weird, right? So, but either way, bottom line is, if you're stuck on this island and something washes ashore, and you could have 7 items with you on the island to play with, G.I. Joe toys, then what would those 7 toys be? Now, they could be your favorite figures. They could be your favorite vehicles. They could be accessories. It could be the checkpoint. It could be whatever you want it to be, and whatever reasons that you have. So that's kind of the idea behind it. And so anyway, so that was kind of the deal. And so, we both picked out 7 things.
And we do. So say if it's a vehicle, it's complete, right? Or if it's a figure, it has all of its accessories.
If it's a headquarters, if it's a terradrome, it's complete. And you can have your reasons for that or whatever. I have my reasons for some myself, actually, as to why I picked them, and they're not necessarily my favorite things. Some of them are, but some of them aren't. But I picked them for a particular reason. And mine are probably super based, I guess. I'd say I didn't get too crazy with it, but it was because as I poured over everything and thought about it, I kind of came at it from another angle, I guess. So that's it. That's the deal. So our top 7 G.I. Joe desert island toys.
And we want to know what you guys would want if you this was all you had to play with. You had to go back to the days when you were a kid. You had maybe you had one Viper figure and you only had one, but there's a bunch of Vipers. There's a whole squad of Vipers. You had to imagine those other 6 guys or whatever. So, it's back to those days, like playability and what can make your imagination go. Right. To keep you from going crazy.
But it was G.I. Joe specific in particular. Because there are other toys, especially from back then, I'd love to have had. But so if that box, if your storage tub that you had washed up and it had, what 7 things would you be able to have or want to have? And that's all you could have.
Right. So you want to go first? You want me to go first?
Let's see. You go first this time. Actually, I think I went first last week. Let's you go first. Fire it up.
All right. Well, one that I would absolutely have to have would be these guys right here. I would 100% have to have Mutt and Junkyard to play with, because dare say I would not be able to have a dog in this outing. I'd be worried about trying to feed myself. But the premise of this is all of your basics, food, water, shelter, all that somehow is taken care of on this desert island. So we're talking about toys. So I wouldn't be able to have a dog, so I would want my favorite imaginary dog, and that's Junkyard. And you can't have Junkyard without Mutt. Way I could play with them and have Junkyard try to sniff out coconuts or whatever the hell, and go fetch me some palm leaves so I can try to fashion a raft. Junkyard, I need you to chew this in 2 for me. Chew here, buddy. And I like Mutt. Mutt was always Mutt's a dog lover. He's grumpy, and he likes submachine guns. So Mutt and I have a lot of stuff in common. So I would have to have Mutt and Junkyard with me on this horrible ordeal that I'm suffering.
All right, that's good. I like it. I had a thought maybe you might go there, but at the same time, I had no idea. We hadn't talked about it. I definitely don't know who it is that you've got. So I'll start out with one of my figures first, and the reason why is because it is my favorite figure, and you know who this is, definitely.
For sure.
It's this guy right here. I got to add him to the stage. I have like a double thing. I forgot I have to do it twice as the guest. Yeah, Flint. I'd have to have Flint. He's the man. My favorite character of all. Always loved this dude. And so I would have to have Flint. And the reason is because he is my favorite, period, hands down. And so,
and he's a great figure. He's a great playability.
Yes,
He's got one of the coolest shotguns that we've seen.
Always loved it. Yep, always loved it. Yeah, it just, I mean, that is my main reason, because if I was going to be stranded, I would have to have somebody that I really, really had to have, my favorite character out of the whole line. So this would be the one. And so, yeah, so that's my reason. That's my first one. No particular order, so to speak.
Yeah,
I'm not 1 through 7 or anything like that.
I wrote them down in order, but I'm not picking them in order.
Yeah, Dreadnought, going back to when we were kids, like, dude, yeah, Flint, when he came out, like, that was always that. Flint was like my team leader. Like, Duke, whatever, Hawk come out, I had him too, right? Had him, but for me, it was all like Flint was like the hero. He was the one that always put it on the line. He was the one that was saving everybody or whatever. Always. So yeah, he was definitely my
favorite. Flint had the personality, he had the charisma. Duke was pretty much just a poster boy, and Hawk was the brains and made the decisions. Even though Hawk was a battle, Hawk wasn't afraid to get his hands dirty.
Right.
He was a field command general, but Flint was the one I always thought of all of the what you think of as the command structure for Joe's, for me, like as far as leadership and probably likability, was probably Flint, Beachhead, and then Sergeant Slaughter for me.
I can see that.
I think so.
Yeah, I can see that. Sure.
So let me go ahead and call up my next one, which I should have already had done while you were talking, but I did not. And I am looking at 3D Joe's here for my picks. So
that's where I got my pictures. That's where I got my pictures from. Is I just pulled them off of 3D. Eric Thurman Zartan on the Swamp Scare, not a bad one at all. That's for sure.
That'd be a good pick. And you're on a desert island, so Zartan with his color change ability also, he'd probably permanently turned blue. Christine says Stalker, Beachhead, Duke for Good Guy Joe's.
Not a bad
It's a good team.
Not a bad team at all.
So there's my next one. Shouldn't be any surprise. So it's my Roadblock's my favorite Joe. Mutton Junkyard, I've said many times, if Roadblock's number one for me, Mutton Junkyard are like 1.25, like not even as far down as 2. But I'd have to have my main man Marvin with me. And I could pretend he was cooking something up and doing something spicy to whatever fish I could catch, and pineapple I could yank out of the tree and make up little rhymes about, man, living here is tough. These waves sure are rough. Ain't no swimming the shore today, because that's not the G.I. Joe way. I don't know. So I would definitely have to have Roadblock with me. This has always been one of my absolute favorite figures, and I hope sometime before I die I get to see Terry Crews play him in a movie.
Oh wow.
Because he'd be perfect. And that's one that we may do one time, y'all, is that everybody likes to do the casting the perfect G.I. Joe movie. We might do that as a topic one night. We've talked about it a little bit. But so anyway, there's my number 2. I gotta have Roadblock. Look at that card back, man.
I know.
That's like the best.
Yes, that's beautiful.
The 82 through 84.
Yeah, and you look at some of those V1s on there, right?
Yeah, you still
Snake Eyes.
Still got some of them dudes on there. Oh, man. The good old days.
Man, that ain't no joke. No joke, bro. No joke. Dreadnought. Let's see. What was that real quick? CC, Firefly, Zartan, That's Remind Me of Serpentor, and Storm Shadow. So you would go all figures then. You would go all figures. You say, hey, I got to have a lot of figures.
And they'd be fighting each other. Unless you make Zartan and Firefly.
That's true.
Man,
yeah.
Well, yeah, I guess you could do that. Serpentor, Storm Shadow. You could have some possibilities
So
there with some infighting and power struggles.
we're gonna
But you,
go. I'm yeah. Oh, absolutely, because there always was, right? So you could definitely do that. You could definitely have that all day. I am going to go with. I'm gonna go with another figure, and this one may be kind of a surprise, but I have my reasons. And I am going to, as my main baddie, my big bad is
go yanking pineapples.
I know, right? I saw that. I said, "Oh my god." My main bad on the island is going to be Destro. My main baddie is going to be Destro. I just feel like I could probably, I thought about Cobra Commander, right? I thought about Firefly because, yes, I do love some Firefly, as you got me this print signed by Mr. Rudat. And my Firefly back there on the thing. Anyway, so
Mezco with its 487 accessories that you're going to lose.
I do love me some Firefly. But I went with Destro because I think he's a little bit more of a alpha, and I think Flint and him could really go at it fighting wise, and it's just more of a, I think, adversary for somebody like Flint, and I needed a big bad on the island. And so that's one of my other figures that I chose, and that's mainly the reason why. Of course, I do love this guy anyway. I mean, how can you not? Especially from the cartoons, the voice, it's classic. You cannot read a comic with Destro and not immediately think of the voice from the cartoon. You just can't. Like, I don't know how man possibly not have that.
Same for me with Zartan.
Yes, Dreadnought, definitely bold move, Cotton. I need to get that meme. I need to get that meme too, because that's a great one. So anyway, dodgeball. Yeah, but Destro is my second one on my desert island list, and there's a method to my madness, I promise. Method to my madness.
All right. Well, I did choose a Firefly.
All right.
So I did pick Firefly for my pretty much, for a bad guy on my island. I did go with him, and I love Firefly. There's a couple characters that I do like over Firefly and Cobra. There's not many, but there are a few. But I thought for the premise of what we're doing, I thought Firefly was a better fit because he's going to try and be sneaky. You might have to have him resort to sabotage because you're on an island. So Firefly he might run out of materials.
Yeah.
You're playing, I've got Mutton Junkyard and Roadblock. So I think Firefly would be a worthy adversary for those two. I think really the main thing Firefly would have to worry about would be Junkyard, honestly, because he can hide from the other two. Ain't no hiding from Junkyard. Just ask Buzzer. So I did pick Firefly. I think Firefly would be he's an awesome toy. Had great accessories.
I love that dude. I love that guy. Camo.
I think Firefly I think he'd be a fantastic toy if you didn't have a choice of, you were limited on what you could play with and had to use your imagination. I think this dude would be perfect. And I just realized so far everything that I've picked is from 1984. So my guys don't even have swivel necks.
Yeah, that's true.
They can't even look down while they're standing in the surf.
I will tell you, most of my stuff is early as well, if not all of it. As you go down the list of everybody else's picks here, and again, these are 7 items. Could be a figure, could be a vehicle, could be a playset, could be a flag. If a flag washed up on your crashed boat. So,
Yeah, the
so
only way
next,
I'm ever gonna get to play with one.
you got that right, unless you go visit Lawrence. All right, so let's pull up my next thing I wish washed up. I wish washed up to shore
Wishy
on
washy.
my desert island is, if I can get to it here, let me get it out of the way for one. I want Flint driving around in an awe striker on the beach. I want a dune buggy-ish vehicle
Nice.
jumping all over. I want Flint hauling ass. Destro jumping out of the way. Maybe them wrestling over the wheel, right? And I just love this vehicle, especially on an island on a beach setting. I think would be a lot of fun. It fits the motif to an extent. And I gotta have vehicles, right? Like I can't just have my guys just running all over. They gotta be able to get around. Now maybe they might run out of gas, but in my imagination, maybe they find some energon or some power cells, and they never run
Mark
out of gas.
Energon.
On my desert island, there's a hole in the ground, and they found an oil reserve, and then they learned how to transform it into petrol.
And they run into the professor who was on the other side of the island when the SS Minnow and
So
washed ashore.
Frostbite, all of that came into my mind. I'm not gonna say yay or it all definitely entered my mind. I'm not gonna say whether any of those are on the list yet, but yes, that did somewhat.
Yep.
Some of my picks are themed, some of them are for different reasons, and some of them are for my imagination. That's kind of how I attacked it. But yeah, but anyway, so the Awe Striker is my my third thing I hope wish washed upon the shore.
All right. That's a good one. I didn't even think about the All Striker. I don't know how, but I did not think of the All Striker at all.
Yeah, it just came up to me. I don't know. I was like, oh, that's great. It'd be, on the dunes, if there are dunes. Might be a really small island.
So yeah, that's true. Cobra Island was only 5 square miles.
That's true.
So speaking of Cobra on an island, I went with the Cobra Trooper. Now this particular example is the straight arm version. I would not want the straight arm version. I would want the swivel arm version. But either way, Cobra Trooper. You got to have some kind of an army builder for your guys to fight. I think because somebody's got to die off when you play with them, and these guys are fodder. And I have Roadblock with his Maw Deuce, so he's got to mow somebody down. So what I was thinking about, a trooper, where in your mind, you only have one figure, but in your mind you got a squad or a battalion or whatever.
Sure.
If for me it's this guy, I always like the blue shirts better than the Vipers. Just your standard Viper. I always liked these guys better. They were always my favorite cannon fodder enemy troopers. This dude had some good accessories, so he would probably be my pick. He got the Dragunov, so you can have him hitting them from a distance or whatever,
right?
And fire radioing him on the walkie, telling him when to fire and who to fire at. So that is one of my picks for
nice
playability if I was stuck there.
Yeah, definitely. And obviously you got to even the odds a little bit, right? You got to even the odds.
Yep.
A little 2 and 2.
Because there can be a bunch of those guys,
That's
right?
True.
So
and I did a little 2 and 2 on mine when it came to good guys, bad guys, or whatever. And so but we'll get to that. We'll get to my 2 and 2. But next on my, let's see here. You know what? I'm gonna call an audible real quick. Only on what I want to reveal, not on exactly what my thing is. So, here we go. All right. So if Flint has a vehicle to ride around in, then obviously Destro needs something to drive around in. It's not fair, right? It's not fair. And if Flint is the only one, right? So I want to give Destro a fun vehicle, almost really a combo vehicle in a way. It's hard to find a lot of combo vehicles, things that come apart. Maybe you can get 3 vehicles out of one thing. Not a lot of Cobra ones do that. They do, but they're all specific into mainly water, actually. This is not a water vehicle, though. I chose the Dreadnought Ground Assault.
Nice.
So I've got the Jeep and I get the motorcycle, right? You know, it's like they came together. So and if let's just say it just came with the Jeep, that would be fine. I'd be okay with that if the motorcycle just somehow disappeared to the Titanic. Then that would be okay too. But I liked it because I had the motorcycle, which means maybe there's that other vehicle, people could fight over that one, right? Like, you know, or whatever. But I'd like this because I was like, man, are there any vehicles that come apart, right? And there's a few. The Thunderclap, I think, is one of them. You know, there's a few different ones. But I need another vehicle, and I didn't think it was fair, so I could play with the two, you know, the All Striker, right? And the remixed Stinger with each other, and I could have car battles, right? I could drive them around and stuff like that, you know, because in my mind, my Joes are stranded on this island too, right? Mm-hmm. So that was my other pick, was the Dreadnought Ground Assault, to even the odds a bit, right? I can't just have, you know, Flint driving around kicking ass all over the place.
That's a good one, but and I would never really would have considered that one, but that's a good call.
I did. I actually, it's been probably a month or two, but that is one that I absolutely would love to have. I would love to have the All Striker in a classified.
Yeah, man.
Not real big, small body and chassis. It's not, you know, I mean, it'd be super easy, I think.
It's very heavily rumored to be coming soon. Matter of fact, wouldn't surprise me. We talked about PulseCon in 1027. We're due for them to announce a vehicle. Yeah. So would not surprise me if that is one that's announced, because you know that it's coming. They just announced the Cobra vehicle in Claw.
Yeah.
So would not surprise me a bit if we see an All Striker announced the end of this year sometime.
Yeah, man.
So I also have a vehicle, and they can fight.
Oh, yeah.
So Matthew actually was like, I want a bunch of whales and string them together so I can try to float out of there.
Right.
So that was not why I chose this vehicle. When we started talking about this topic, this was the first one that come to mind for me. The first thing that come to mind was the whale. And we can only pick vehicles with no drivers, even if they came with the driver. So this is just a pick as the vehicle. Just because if I'm on a desert island and I would want to play with these guys in the water, it floats.
Right. Yeah.
So you can get out in the surf and take your guys out in the surf, and maybe having them fight over the whale. So they could get out of there. Like they could take their team or couple guys and they could get off the island.
Right.
Even though you couldn't, maybe you could go vicariously through them. Right. And if all else fails, if you had anything you could write with, you could just put you a message in this sumbitch and push it into the surf and hope it floats to the Bahamas and somebody comes and rescues you. So you could take a rock or a stick and scratch it into the plastic if you had to. So if you was willing to sacrifice one of your only means of entertainment on this island for
You
a
can
chance
send
at
it off.
rescue.
Yep. Send it like
You
a bottle with a note inside.
That's right. So, especially given my recent,
Yeah.
catching up with it and playing with it again in the water and taking it down and float on the creek with it, bringing
Yes.
back the old days when we did that. So I would definitely want to have a whale, and I just have to have my guys fight over it.
Yeah, right.
And see who could win.
Nope. That's
Who
great.
could take it.
That's great. I love it. I heavily considered the whale. Definitely. And can you imagine if you were trying to escape the island and you jumped on it, and how many times you'd have to sit there and go pushing the fans behind you, going chuk, 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 like this to make it go to the Bahamas the whole way?
Yeah, that's right. I'd just send it though. I wouldn't send one of the figures with it. I'd just sacrifice it.
Right. Yeah, no, I love it. And I did consider the whale because I thought, yes, I'm on an island. Yes, it would be fun to play in the water, and play with these guys in the water. And that may be something I have on the way. It's very possible. Very, very possible. But in the meantime, my fifth item, every man needs his woman. I gotta have stories. How do you have stories? You create tension. How do you create tension? Put a woman in it. There you go. Here we go.
A guaranteed way to do it.
Nah, and all jokes aside, though, I had to bring Lady J, right? I mean, it's only fitting because I want to play out stories, and I can't just have my guys, right? Like I could, but they ain't my kind of stories. So
that was a different kind of island that was in the news a few years ago.
Yes. So my stories would have obviously a woman involved that could create tension, that could create fights, that a love story. Who knows? Maybe they could do a bunch of mezcal and have a good party. Just the three of them. Anyway, I don't know. But bottom line is, Flint also needs somebody rolling around in an awe striker with him. And he needs a little help.
She was Destro's cousin.
Yeah, she was. And so you'll see, you'll understand. So, yes, there has to be tension. And I had to bring along, there had to be a female on the beach. So I picked Lady J because obviously with Flint, Scarlet would have made no sense. Jinx would have made no sense. You know what I'm saying? Like nobody else. So anyway, but that helps me with storytelling, right? Introduces new possibilities. So that is my fifth, right? Yeah, my fifth one is Lady J. Lady J.
So that's a good one. You definitely. That's a good pick for having to expand and have different kinds of stories. So on my last two, when we initially discussed it, I asked and I said all of G.I. Joe, and that was originally what we had said. And then we said it made more sense to be Real American Hero just because there's more stuff to choose from and whatever. But originally it was all of G.I. Joe, anything G.I. Joe. So my last two are actually classified. And just for the record, I would take the Real American Hero versions of these just fine if we were keeping it to Real American Hero. I probably would have picked these two anyway, but my last two were intended to be in the classified figures, and I have a reason for that. Even though they don't scale. So that would be one of them would be this guy right here.
Okay.
the classified bat. Now, if we were sticking to or making it just Real American Hero, I would also take the bat, but I did intend to have a couple classified figures just because this is one of the best figures that there is in classified or Real American Hero. Just the different playability, interchangeability, whatever.
Sure.
You're gonna have to let your imagination wander a bit as far as having a robot on a salty desert island, but that's what imagination is there for. I love this thing. It could fight anybody. You could have it go haywire, and turn on Cobra. The bats supposedly, didn't recognize friend from foe. They shot anything that moved.
It can go in the water, probably. It could probably walk underwater, right?
So
Android, who knows? I mean,
so either version of this for me, the classified or the Real American Hero, would definitely be on the list just because they were so awesome. You could do anything with them. Lots of playability with them. So
man,
that's that pick.
Well, my next pick, man, and I did think of the bats too, and really it was because of the fact of like the multi use, like just multi-tool abilities, especially if you're stuck on a desert island.
Yeah.
But you asked for her. You want her. Baroness. Baroness is on my island because guess what? Every evil man needs his woman. Storylines, y'all. Storylines. Remember when Flint and Baroness kind of had to in the comics ended up having to kind of like work together? If you remember that?
Yeah.
Again, talking about Lady J being Destro's cousin. But then, you know what I'm saying? Like, hey, that shit's weird, but it is what it is. But anyway, so yes, and this is who's going to ride the motorcycle with the Dreadnought Assault, the ground assault. This is where the motorcycle goes. And again, if it was just the Jeep, she'd be riding with her man. So you got Flint, Lady J, Destro, and Baroness stuck on a desert island, fighting it out, right?
I think that leather suit might be hot, but
well, I mean, what do you do with a leather suit when it's hot on a desert island?
Take that mug off.
Take it off.
Shrink anyway.
Take it all off. So yes, my number 6 is the Baroness, and people were calling for Baroness Christine, I think, in there. Aaron said definitely have to bring Baroness. So yes. Baroness is on my list, and because of obvious reasons, but I also want to set up storylines and imagination. They both have vehicles, right? 2 teams, they can battle it out, demolition derby style, whatever. And then you got your love triangle stuff going on or whatever and all that kind of stuff. So that's my number 6 is the Baroness.
That's pretty good. Pretty good pick there. I didn't really think about doing mine that way. Kind of wish I had of, but
it's just wide open though. That's why I said, it's kind of like whatever your reasons are, right? You could have, you just want to be able to do battles, or you have people that are good on a desert island. Maybe they're good in the water, right? You could have water vehicles or whatever, it's kind of whatever. Everything's up in the air. But for me, in my mind, I was thinking, okay, well, what kind of different scenarios can I have, right? Like, story wise, or whatever kind of play out. So that's kind of where I went with it.
Yeah. So definitely makes sense. So Frostbite, hit that like button, people. I would appreciate that. And if you have not done that, helps out all the time in the long runs. Thank you for mentioning that. So on mine, for my last one that I've got, so if you got the bat, you gotta have Sarge.
Yeah.
So I would again. These guys, my thinking was the classified version, but I would also be fine with having them in the Real American Hero version. And if that was the case, I would want the first Sarge with the USA. Yeah, I'd take Marauder Sarge too, but if I had to pick, I would want the original version, because you can have Sarge fight literally anybody. He's going to keep your Joes, in shape, focused on the mission, and then if you're going to have bats, you got to have Sarge to knock out a whole squadron of bats and rip their hands and their attachments off and whatever. So I definitely would want Sergeant Slaughter with me on a desert island. Now, the reason why I did pick two classified figures for this was, what is something that Real American Hero figures have that classified figures don't?
Well, I'm guessing they have screws.
That is correct. They have metal.
Right.
And if I'm on a desert island and I'm playing with these guys in the water, before long, my precious Real American Hero Joes
right
going to fall apart.
That's true.
So we saw it many, many times when we were kids playing with these guys outside in the creek and stuff, bring them back in. And of course, we didn't know any better to try to dry them back.
Oh, no.
I don't really think it would have made that much difference, even if we did. So that was my reasoning for wanting to have a couple of classified figures with me on the island.
No, that makes sense.
But if we were sticking to Real American Hero, then I would be fine with Bat and Sarge. So
hell yeah.
It's Jay Gonzo. What's that, buddy?
Yeah, no, absolutely. You kidding? No, you can't go wrong with either one of them. And I didn't think about the screws either. You know what I mean? So you get different reasons in your head for why you want this or that. And so that makes sense, right? You still have something to play with after a while, especially if you're stuck there for a long time.
Yeah. They're just going to
get loose. My Star Wars figures, man, the ones I play with, Walrus Man in the bathtub, dude, you can hold that dude's head and just do like this, and he's just like he just flops around. Still got him though. Still got that shot of my bed.
I've still got mine too, and that was long before we knew he had a name, right? It was long before we knew he was Pond Baba.
Absolutely. And then
Baba Yaga.
Yeah. Before we get to my last one, Matthew says Tomahawk, Whale, Night Landing, Eel, Chuckles, Beachhead, Lifeline. Tomahawk for hope. Yeah. So I, in my mind, I was thinking, okay, I'm stuck on an island and these guys are stuck on it too. If I give them a vehicle like a boat or a helicopter, then they would be able to get away. And I was like, and so in my mind, I'm thinking, well, they're stuck there too. And they got to wait on rescue, or they've got to fight it out, or they have to work together eventually, whatever it is. So I didn't give any sea vehicles. There were many, trust me, many that I wanted to pick, especially the ones that have like little skiffs or submarines, right? There's some Cobra vehicles that come apart, There's Joe vehicles,
the Sea Ray, the Shark.
There are many others, especially later in the line. You start getting some real goofy stuff. But anyway,
the Bug.
Even the Bug. But I didn't get many of those, but I figured, okay, I've got two good guys, two bad guys and gals. Got some storylines here. They've got vehicles, right? But what are they really fighting over, right? Like, they're on an island. So what are they really fighting over? Well, the only thing I could think of that at least kind of had beds and somewhere to sleep and a little protection, for the most part, was Headquarters Command Center. So they're fighting. So, they can capture the base. We can play capture the base. Somebody has to infiltrate and take it back. Right. Like, so in my mind, I thought, okay, gotta have something for them to be fighting over. And I figure at least it's a piece of real estate. So I thought, okay, well, if I could have the Headquarters Command Center pop up in a storage tub and put it together, then I could at least have a capture the flag type of situation, or capture the base, take over.
You're just out on the beach one day looking for airplanes, and all of a sudden floats by a crate. Bloop, 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 bloop. And you open it up and it's full of G.I. Joe
Yeah,
toys.
yeah. You're like, and these are the ones I wanted.
Yeah, this is exactly what I wish I had on this island.
Yeah, and I did. I mean, I thought of many different scenarios, and kind of like what Christine's mentioning, like, okay, there's only one night landing, because I looked at the night landing. I thought, okay, there's only, one devil ray. There's only one, whatever, right? Like and I thought, yeah, but like they're just gonna have to wait to be rescued, right? And because then I even thought, well, what if it's only a one-seater type thing? Does Flint leave Lady J behind to deal with Destro and Baroness? And I mean, maybe she wants to.
Jack.
I don't know. But it's like, I'll be back. And so I was like, well, that would be kind of shitty. So anyway, yeah, nice, hella dope. So that was my thinking anyway. So my last one was some kind of headquarters for them, and it does have the jail cell that has a couple beds in it or whatever.
Yeah, well, I went with just only one vehicle, because that would give the playability of, do they fight each other for it, or do they try and work together and get it operable so they can all escape? Because you've got, I can see cartoon Roadblock would just be trying to, I think cartoon Roadblock would murder everybody, or not, comic Roadblock would murder everybody.
Sure.
Cobra wise, to get that so his team could escape. Mutt probably would too. I could see Sergeant Slaughter being the one of my picks that would propose trying to work together. But on the Cobra side, you got a trooper that's going to do whatever Firefly tells him. You got a bat that's going to do whatever, hopefully whatever, that he's programmed for. So I could see Firefly being the one that said, if my squad can't take it, I'm just going to blow it up.
Right.
So, so all kinds of different stuff that I come up with for playability. Christine wants to know, we can squeeze Baroness in. I can always squeeze Baroness in somewhere.
Yes.
Or vice versa.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
What's that, Eric? I wonder if what's hard to get.
The helidope crate, maybe? I don't know.
Yeah, what are you talking about, Eric?
But yeah, bottom line is there's so many different ways and different things, and ultimately at the end of the day, it's kind of how you approach it. I mean, the realization is that if something did wash ashore, and if it was like some G.I. Joe stuff, you just be thankful for whatever the hell that it was, no matter what. But chances are, in my case, it would be like a jar full of old boogers that somebody put in.
A crate full of used condoms.
It's like somebody saving these for some reason.
Like, what? Well, why is there a crate of these? Who puts these in a crate? Who does
Holy
that?
Moly.
That would be my luck. So,
well.
yeah. So
anyway,
so I thought that was a good topic. So
yeah, not too bad.
We'll come up with some funny, silly, maybe thought-provoking ones like that.
And Eric, I thought about the command center, right? Like, there were so many mobile platforms that set it out in the water, and they could swim up
battle
to
platform.
it. The battle play, yeah. I mean, just there's so many different ones. But I will say this: I will tell you one thing I noticed as you scroll through 3D Joe's. Oh God! And there's one thing I wanted to show you too. I'm going to bring the website up, but there's one thing I really, really, really wanted to show you. So, so as I was looking through the list, man, like, there is not a lot of Cobra vehicles that come apart, and like, there's a few, but there's several G.I. Joe vehicles where there's like multiple vehicles, 2 things that roll around, 3 things that roll around. And there wasn't as many in Cobra. So like, in my mind, I was thinking, well, the Thunderclap would be cool because then that way it could break up into 3 vehicles and you could get 3 vehicles out of one. So you could maximize your thing, right? That's what in my mind I was thinking, but I couldn't find anything that was Cobra except for they were all water based.
The maggot.
That's if you look at it, and I wanted to see, there's just something funny I come across as I was researching this that I wanted to show y'all that I thought was just some of the goofiest stuff. And I know some of you probably have very fond memories of some of these things. But for me, some of these, I'm just going to bring this screen up and share it. And I just want to bring up a few of these items real quick so you can see the pictures. It comes to the miniature stuff. Okay. So when you get to like your little miniatures, let's see here if I can find it. It's in here somewhere. Okay. So this thing right here. How ridiculous does that look?
You know what that reminds me of? That
How
reminds me of Planet Terror when he had that pocket bike.
Look at this shit.
And he pulled that pocket bike out of the trunk of the car and was riding on it with his legs all bowed out, and they were riding into a horde of zombies, and this motherfucker's in the front of the pack on a 80cc mini bike.
Look at Shockwave. Look at
that. I don't remember those.
Dude, hang on. It gets so much better. The tank car.
They look like they're driving to the G.I. Joe fucking circus.
Dude, oh my God. Like, I was freaking losing it. What's up, Shane?
What's up, Shane?
Let's see.
Where Christine says they're using a bike like that today.
Oh, this one. Look at the.
Oh, look, it's the 60th anniversary recon diver.
Yeah, right. But look at this on here. Look at the way he's on it. Like, I lost it. And then the copter, like, just think if you were on this copter. Look, if they asked you to fly through the air on.
Doesn't he basically come with one of those anyway?
I can't remember.
No, it's not Gyro. Frostbite. Which one is that? Astro Viper?
I lost it when I saw these pictures here, and I saw these grown men like.
This is like if you went out and you got on your kid's Power Wheel. Like,
oh my God.
Kid had a
and then
wheel.
There's one other I want to show you, and it was like Fred Flintstone. It was so Fred Flintstone, and I gotta show it real quick if I could find it. It would take me just a second. And I absolutely lost it when I saw it. Because I was like, well, that is just like for okay. Okay, now
did you Frostbite? Did you have those in Australia? Did you have the little mini vehicles? Did they make it over there?
I remember a lot of the little motorized stuff because I had some of them. Because like one of them, like those. This thing, like the Earth Borer.
I had that.
Like what? Crocmaster.
Yeah, Crocmaster using because that's the guy going to use the Earth Borer.
And then you're like, man, here's your stocking stuff.
I had that.
I know.
That was actually a good choice to put with that thing.
The mountain climber. Now look, I had these two. I had the rope crosser and the rope walker, and I remember stringing them up and letting them go across. Look, poor Outback. Look, he's staring at his doom. He's like a 14,000 foot drop, and he across two mountain ledges, and he's like just staring down as he's like in the canopy thing.
He looks up, and Indiana Jones is standing on the rope with them.
Those were cool. Like, I dig these, but like a couple of those and the little 3-wheeler thing, like that was so funny. Let me see if I can find it real fast. I just wanted to show one thing that just made me absolutely crack up, and it's such a Flintstones style vehicle that it's not even fair to ask somebody to pilot this thing. Let me see.
Frostbite, yeah. These mini vehicle things featured in my crazy GI Joe art. Yeah, you did have they were the video he did on the funny figures on the packaging. Yeah, he did have some of those in there. I remember seeing those in there. Christine had the rope cross one.
Yeah. I did. I mean, I remember hooking those up and like getting them bad boys going. There it is.
I had that.
The Devastator. Look at that dude's feet. That's dangerous, man. That's dangerous. That's some Fred Flintstone stuff going on right there. That brother's in trouble, man. He's in trouble. Like that is I saw that earlier and I was like, what the hell?
I never actually noticed that about that before. Never really paid any attention to that before. I had that.
That poor dude. Look at them tootsies, man. Them tootsies are just dangling, man. That poor fella.
You could just see he's just trying to hold them up. Like, I hope I don't go over any hills.
That's what I'm saying, man. Right? Like, holy moly. Anyway, I just thought those were hilarious when I was researching earlier, man, and especially the minis, dude. Like, I thought that looks like when you go into Walmart and you go to the kids' toy section, they got the little small things that kids sit on and they push it with their legs. That's what it looked like. Oh my god.
So what if we got those in classified?
Oh, dude, they could sell them for like $24 a piece.
They'd probably be
$14.99.
Yeah, they'd probably be $30 damn, man.
No, you already know they would be, but good
because they were more than a figure. They were like the figures were like $3, and those things were like $6.99 or $7.99. So can you imagine selling one of those and it being like $50 for a little thing that their feet hang out the bottom of?
Goodness gracious, yeah.
We'd be online raking Hasbro over the coals trying to sell us some shit like that.
Yeah, you already know. But yeah, just yes, exactly. Yes, exactly.
So there is a there's a sealed Zartan and Swamp Skier for sale at Yojo Depot. That
wow.
I really want, but dude, it's like $700. Hey, I've seen them cheaper, like within the last year, but it's in really good shape.
You know, it was truly amazing at Joe Fest looking at the looking at stuff and seeing like the prices on some of those, on some of those inbox or a bubble, packaging, on the card sealed, $450, $750, I mean, just fascinating to me how much some of that stuff is and how well it looked. I mean, it literally looked like it was right on the peg at Toys R Us, dude. You could just see it.
That one booth that had all of the carded, like the graded and the some graded, some not, but all of the slab, the acrylic in the acrylic cases, because we went back and because they had the flint, and they had a scrap iron that I was looking at, but I mean, man, they wanted firstborn money for them things.
Yeah, no, I believe it. What is fun also too about this 3D Joe site is that sometimes they have the picture of the art, like the out of the box, but there's no sticker on it, right? And then sometimes they have them where they have the price from back then, like the sticker on the box. And I just noticing some of those sticker prices and just seeing like, how much they charge for something back in the day. And it's just like, wow, man, like, stuff that, I guess, yes, it was expensive maybe to our parents, but, looking back on it and you're like, that's a vehicle for, $13.99.
Yeah.
$14.99.
That video that Frostbite did, he had a couple of those that he featured on there, one or two that had stickers on it.
This Awe Striker that I showed earlier, the sticker on it, it says $9.49 for the All
Yeah.
Striker.
Remember them green, those
$9.49.
green Walmart tags when they still stickered everything. They had those
Oh yeah.
like lime green tags
Mhm.
that they tagged everything with. I remember
Yeah.
them. Remember them Joes being 247, and then they went up to 274. Then they were 297.
Right. Yeah, man.
And man, just crazy, man.
But
Think
pretty
about
awesome. Pretty awesome looking at this stuff and and going back to it every now and then and then coming across one that's a picture of the actual box, and seeing the prices is just like, wow, man,
yeah.
it's crazy.
It's nice, man, going back and looking at the real American hero stuff. We're all about classified, me and
Yeah.
you and probably
Yeah.
most people that are in our chats or but we'll never forget the roots and the times that we had
Oh
with
no.
this real American hero stuff, because we wouldn't have classified if we didn't have that stuff. It'd be something else. So going back and looking through that, I like to do. That's one thing I really like about the omnibus, about Carson's book, is you can go back and look at all that stuff and read about, like, it might have something in there about the ideas for the packaging or something like that, what inspired the art or whatever.
Right.
I like flipping through that and just seeing it just right there, and bam, and like the pages that have the images of the carded figures laid out where you can go back and look at that. But seeing the stuff online like that still has the tag on it really does bring it home
Yeah.
to the
Oh,
old days.
yeah. Especially when you see one of a store that you're familiar with, right?
Yeah, I remember
Circus
when
World.
those. Yeah, man, Circus World. No, it wasn't nothing marked down in Circus World.
Just because it was
But
in the mall.
I remember the store. Even KB, and KB was kind of a discount retailer part way, and their stuff was high in KB until they marked it down. They marked it down. They
Right.
marked it down to move it, but KB was always kind of high. What does it mean? What's it mean over there? If you can, if YouTube will let you type it out, it might
Right.
filter it out.
I don't know. I almost started to look it up, but then I thought about asking him myself.
Hmm. Well,
But
now we've asked.
Yep.
The song has been sang.
Um,
Uh, I don't remember what happened to my swamp skier, Eric. I had it, like, I have the picture on one of the Instagram reel I made of me pulling out, getting all of those old Joe toys for birthdays and stuff. I made a cool Instagram reel out of it. And one of the pictures is when I got Zartan, and I do not remember what the hell happened to the swamp skier. I had the box for it for a long time, the little thing you could tow around, and put all the pieces in. But
yeah. I definitely know where mine went because I basically pretty much had most all my pieces, and then they went into that garage sale, uh, in y'all's garage, and
yeah,
but for the most part, most of my stuff stayed in my room.
yeah,
Rarely did I take it downstairs, but in my room, and so I had most all the pieces, all the backpacks and guns and swamp skier and everything, right? You lose a couple things here or there, obviously, fall down the vent, or something, but
oh man, that van ate a lot of Joe
yeah.
stuff.
But for the most
Um,
part, yeah, I had most of my stuff and then sold it all in that
So
yard sale.
Frostbite says when you root someone, you have
Yeah.
intimate relations with them. So when we hear Americans say they're rooting for their team, it sounds really sexually weird. I
That's
guess
right.
it does. I would laugh too
Yeah,
if I heard that. And yes, same
that's
time,
great.
that is definitely a different meaning.
Yeah,
So
man.
I
Well,
think we'll probably cap it off with
yeah.
that, with
Yep, yep.
rooting for our friends and our teams there. So Pop Blender, where can they find you at?
Man, oh man. At the channel Pop Blender, POP space BLENDER, just like it says on the screen. Yeah, no, obviously I just mainly have streams on there with Matthew or myself. and be with Matthew next Tuesday, maybe talking about Beetlejuice, some other stuff. Always looking for new stories, pop culture stories and stuff to talk about. We also will bring up occasionally some figures or new releases or something like that's coming out. Something that he definitely wants to talk about. And I could tell what Frostbite wanted to talk about. But anyway, but yeah,
some double fisting.
but yeah, Pop Blender's the channel. I am on Instagram. It's Pop Blender 75. I mainly post reminders about me going on stream and stuff like that. But I do check my messages and try to at least check them every day. But occasionally a day or two might get away from me. But that's it. That's where you can find me. So,
and your solo stream is kind of on.
It's a little bit on
a little bit of a break right now.
Well, it's tough because my son is in marching band, and here in America, Friday nights are football game nights in high school, and so he marches, and I go to every football game that's not an away game. So I go to every football game, home game, and watch him march at halftime, and I stay for the game. And then Saturdays, he has band competitions coming up this month, and there's 3 in a row. So trying to do my Friday night unfiltered stream is a little tough right now. And so I'll figure that out. That won't last forever. I'll figure it out. But yeah, so I'll get it back on the horse, but I definitely gotta figure it out with the football games and stuff going on, band stuff. So is what it is. All good.
Frostbite available in the next few weeks. If you guys like an Aussie to talk crap with, and that is something that we have talked a little bit about, having a guest a little bit from time to time. So we need to visit that idea and come up with something concrete. And I think that's probably something we could definitely make happen. You're always fun to talk to.
Oh yeah.
So I don't really have a whole hell of a lot going on. I got a review I'm trying to finish, but it's not going well. So I'm gonna wind up putting out some bastardized version of that here before long. I had to send an email, and I'm waiting for a response on something before I can proceed. Because kind of know what to do. Plus, it's something that's really hard to do a video on, as far as like a review. Looking at it now, it's really nice. So anyway, got that. I got something else coming in that I'm going to try to get a review done over the weekend. Another figure that is not G.I. Joe, but it's something that is really cool and fits in with something we talked about earlier tonight as far as spooky season. So looking forward to getting that thing in. Probably will be joining in or at least listening on Punk's Pit on Friday. So if you guys are members of A Punk with Toys, go check that out. Hang out with Lawrence for a little while. And then next week, I will be back on the Backyard Battlefield with Aaron the Toy Enhancer and Krusty Old Crow. We don't know where we're going to do it yet. I think it's my turn, but we got to find out. So it'll be one of our channels. So be looking for that. So I want to thank everybody for tuning in and chatting with us tonight. Had a good chat. Always enjoy talking to you guys. And if you are watching the replay, thank you for listening to our silliness for a few hours. Yeah. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe to myself and Pop Blender if you're not already. And that's it. You want to take us out of here?
Yeah. Everybody, I'm Pop Blender.
And I am Down South 77, aka 3-Star Draw.
Y'all have a good night.
Peace.
Appreciate it.